And we're live. Hello, dog meat. It feels so strange to. I only took 1 week. Well, did I take multiple weeks off there? I took 1 week. We did the live mod school last week, and then I think we played this the week before, right? It feels like it's been forever since I played this. Hello, guys. Scott Wilson, is there a master list for Wasteland repopulation locations? Right now, the repop only works in Concord, but it will be spreading to the rest of. Like we've made pretty significant progress in getting support for other areas. So that'll likely launch either as just a random patch in the next couple of months, or it'll be part of the 3.0 patch, which I don't know timing-wise. Like there's a lot up in the air timing-wise with the release of everything, because as Quester, as you pointed out, there's now that we know there's a special showcase for Starfield coming relatively soon, like in the next month or two. That tells me that likely Starfield's coming out before E3, which means, like, you know, if you assume E3 is in June, I believe it's in June, that means, and we want to have a month buffer between when we release Chapter 3 and Starfield comes out, that means we have now, like, we're looking at a May 1st maximum deadline. So on that, if that's the case, then then Friday might be our last patch until Chapter 3. We might be suddenly going into the dark here. So that's something I got to think about and mull over, because it's a sudden change of plans. But I knew it was going to happen. Chapter 3 development has always been hinging on when Starfield comes out. Is gonna change the kind of pace of everything we do. Sounds good. Thank you, Jason. But yeah, so yeah, Wasteland repop very likely, based on current information, going to be part of the 3.0 patch to expand it. Could also get delayed further just because the person who's working on them had just had a serious medical problem come up. We don't know when she's going to be back, and so I'm not going to bug her while she's dealing with that to try and finish up that work. Hello, Deep Dive. Hello, Quester. Hello, Too Large. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I gotta remember what we were doing in this save. Let's see here. Potential recruits. Oh, did we do a... We must have done Iran. Let's see, report 6. Oh, that's right, we were working in the vault. That is right. Because we were just kind of playing through the story, because it's like a nice way to pass the time while we wait for settlers to appear. And it kind of shows the pace you can expect when you're playing on easy mode. Of like, don't really got to spend a ton of time doing settlement building. Just do a few little things for the quests, pop up some city plans, and watch kind of everything spring to life, which was the goal of this playthrough. I'm debating how far I should take it. What do you guys think? Should I take it like all the way to the end, like take it all the way to HQ, and just play it that way, or should I just play a couple more episodes and maybe stop when we're done with Chapter 1, because that's when most of the settlement mechanics are done, and then we move on to hardcore? I'm debating which way to go with this. Maybe the big Fallout 4 update will delay things. I mean, I'm still holding out hope that Bethesda delays Starfield again. Like, I would love it to be a holiday release. Like, that would be amazing. That would mean we would have time to get all the features we want in, and release a pretty solid, like, launch. Because, like, one of the things that we've always suffered from is buggy launches, because we're putting out so much content, and we tend to test almost exclusively with a minimal load order, and then you guys pop into your full orders, and immediately we find, like, oh, there's lots of flaws here. So the longer we have, the less likely that will occur, and we can get some of those things worked out in advance. World Mapper 2, has anyone made an HQ add-on? If so, I might be the first. Captain Laserbeam released the first HQ add-on, I think. Was your World Mapper, were you the one who released... Somebody released one the morning after I did that live stream, and I was so excited to see that, because I joked about somebody doing that, and then someone did it, which was amazing. Just a single room, but I will be doing a news video later this month. Like, I'll get the news videos back on track, and I'll make sure to point out all those add-ons that people released after that tutorial. Z Games, thank you for the donation. Hey, I'm curious about the war system. Can you divulge anything? Will there be front lines and armies attacking from points, or just random chance on when and where? I'm so excited for the new update. We can talk a little bit about it. So a lot of it's still kind of up in the air because we're still playtesting. And I will say that the launch version of the war system will look like a slightly more advanced version of what was in Conqueror. So if you're familiar with Conqueror, you have a rough idea how that plays out. And then beyond that, like, I've got a lot of ideas on paper, but again, going back to the Starfield and the pressure, like, the team needs me to focus a lot on getting the stuff done we need for the story. So, like, any of the mechanics are there, and then a lot of the other stuff, like the stuff that I like long term for the mods for replayability, that stuff will get patched in later, just because I gotta be careful. I can deep dive forever on systems, and then if that makes the story suffer, that's not worth it, considering we've taken you guys 2/3 of the way through. We want to take it home now. So, like, I'm going to be very soon shifting all my effort toward helping make sure the main quest gets finished. And so that'll end up shelving a lot of systems I have in mind for the war stuff, but I would like it to feel more alive than I think Conqueror did. Like, Conqueror, I think, felt like what you described there, of like random chance of just things happen when and where, and I would love it to feel more like, more like there are battlefronts and things happening strategically as opposed to just chaos. Like, that would be the ideal. Whether or not we get there is up for question, because one of the things, I have no experience coding out a system like that. Like I've never built an RTS or a grand strategy game, so I'm just kind of winging it. And the game, and we're playing in an engine that doesn't want to do things like that. So, and for those of you guys joining us for the first time, I will get started with actual gameplay right around 9 o'clock. I'm just kind of, normally this is the time where I tinker with settlements and try and keep up with chat until 9 o'clock, and then I kind of go the other direction and focus on what I'm doing in the game and ignore chat for a while. Let's see here. Deep Dive Gaming, stop at end of chapter 1. You need to get on hard mode. I know a lot of you guys who are playing hard mode want me to get over there and feel your pain, because it will inevitably lead to me putting in some quality of life changes or whatnot. Nick Carter, you should do the CPD quests again to identify any remaining bugs. Oh, there's so many bugs in CPD that we get reported on. The CPD, like, really, the CPD quests, I need to kind of gut them and almost do them over, which is terrifying. And because it's technically side quest content, like, you don't need to do it to complete the main quest, it's probably not going to happen anytime soon. Short one, do all settlement stuff, then hardcore, unless Starfield gets in the way. Yeah, I think, I'm like, so thinking about settlement stuff. So after we get to new plots on the block, which is actually coming pretty quick, I'll have all the plot types unlocked, and then I can get access to, trying to think when and I guess I would have to, and then if I did Nightingales, I could get access to basically all of the classes that you don't have to earn through unlocks. But you don't really need the Nightingale classes if you're playing on easy mode, because diseases are just turned off. So yeah, I guess I could really maybe play through up to, like, new plots. Maybe I'll do up to what's the quest with Stodge and company. Maybe I'll do up through that. That might be a good spot to stop. I think it gives people a taste of how quickly you can go through the main quest and not have to spend a lot of time on the managing your settlements if you don't want to. Question WI, second option sounds good, and there's murmurs on some Reddit that Starfield might be a November release, as Bethesda's done almost all game releases in November. That would be the ideal. I would love that. But we can only operate on the information we have right now, and right now, the idea of them doing a showcase in, like, February, and then, Todd Howard's on record doing an interview where it's like the shortest window that marketing says they'll let him do between announcement and release is 5 months, but technically they've already had that window, right? Because they announced it and they've done, like, kind of not a huge deep dive, but they at least, like, showed us a lot of gameplay already. Excuse me. So I don't know what that 5-month timer is. Is it from the time they do their first deep dive? Like, if you guys remember when they first revealed Fallout 4 and showed off a lot of the new systems and like showed the workshop system and talked a lot about how the game would play. Like they did like I don't remember how long it was, like 25-minute presentation on it, and then it was like that was at like E3 I think that year, and then it came out that November, so that would have been about 5 months. But I don't know if it was like I wasn't really following it back then. I wasn't, I was a Fallout fan, but not I wasn't following the game industry at that point in my life. So I don't know how much lead up there was before that, or if that was the first moment Fallout 4 was announced and people just knew or assumed they were working on it. Does anybody know? Like, what was the pattern there? It'd be really interesting. I'm really trying to, because this is like super important to me right now of when they're gonna release Starfield. Ivan 4N09. Is there a way to force a settlement to connect to a caravan network? How does the whole thing work? So the way the caravan networks work, you've got to have a municipal plot with caravan services, and you have to have one in each settlement you want to connect, and there's a range check on them. So the range, I say the easiest range to look at is to go for Sanctuary to Lexington, where is Lexington? Right about, like right here-ish? It's like right around, I think it's around right in here somewhere. So right from there to there, any settlements in that distance or less will all connect to each other if they have caravan services with a settler assigned to them. And if they're not connecting, usually refreshing the plot will take care of it. So I've heard a lot of people are having trouble with the caravan network when they're using IDEX, which it might be that we've changed the caravan code enough over, because I know IDEX specifically made sure to not mess with our caravans when he released his SS2 thing, because he said, he told me, he's like, I respect what you're trying to do there of trying to make the settlements kind of connect naturally over a smaller distance, so they have to create like a chain. So he didn't have his system mess with it, but we've changed the way our caravan system works so much since he launched it that maybe now they're incompatible. I don't know. So I don't know if you're using IDEX. Maybe that's some of the problem. Skywise, show how to skip quests after stage, go right to HQ. Oh yeah, I could do that. That's not a bad idea. Because I'm actually curious to play in HQ for a little bit when all the options are turned off, just to see like what the initial experience feels like. Because I've done it, in a quick test to make sure that the options correctly got set, but I haven't done it and with the intent of playing it for a little bit. It could be an interesting way to go. Crying Cube, thank you for the CK tutorial last week. Might give it a try before CP startup again. No experience with the CP, so it might be a learning experience. Oh, that'd be fun. Yeah, some of you city planners could do some damage in the CK. There's so much more you can do in there. Too large pepperoni. Remember to tag King Gath any questions. Yes, make sure you tag me if you want me to catch your question. There's no way I can keep up with chat. I'm horrible at it because I will go on long rambles on some people's questions and I'll forget where I'm at. So it's easier for me to just skip to the King Gath. I won't be buying Starfield to King Gath's first release for it. Might be a long wait. I'm not sure if I'm going to mount it or not yet. We'll see. A lot of stuff going on in my life right now that I have no idea where I'm going to be in, or like what Bethesda's plans are for modding with it. They've talked about releasing mods tools for 76, and that hasn't happened yet. And it's been isn't it 4.5 years now since 76 came out? It's been a minute. Let's see here, Oscar. So I have a question about SS2. If I start the game in very easy, SS2 will start with similar setting, right? So if I switch to survival, let's do change to match. No, it'll stay equal to very easy. It only tests your difficulty level once when SS2 is starting up, and then it will kind of ignore your settings after that. Then you have to do it manually. Chris B, thank you for the donation. Why do the gunners keep attacking my settlements in Chapter 2? I clear them out and they re-invade once I leave the area. So to make that stop, just continue with the main quest. Like that's meant to make it feel like there's an existential threat that you have to deal with. So and you can actually ignore them if you want. You can also just play, and at most it'll queue up 5 raids at a time where the gunners are there, and it won't keep going after that. There's no penalty for ignoring them. So if you find them irritating and you just want to play the rest of the game, you're not ready to advance the main quest, you can just ignore them. Deep Dive Gaming, was a save game I sent you a bug or did I break something? It wasn't a bug. I responded to your message. It's basically, I guess it was kind of a bug. Old Paul is technically still attached to the settlement in your save, and that's him. So it's summoning his invisible body around, which is creepy. And so yeah, I have it prevented in the next patch, but yeah, so kind of a bug, but it wasn't actually the HQ radio. Oh, it's 9 o'clock. All right, so let's get into it, guys. So for those of you guys new to the stream, the way that I roll is I tend to play the game for about an hour and a half, focusing on the game more than chat. If I hit a load screen or some dialogue, I'll peek over to chat and see if there's a question I can quickly answer. Sometimes not quickly. And otherwise, the only time you're going to catch my attention in chat is with Super Chat, because definitely want to shout those out. Thank you guys, because that helps helps to cover the cost of development of the mod. And then once we hit about 10:30, so like an hour and a half to 2 hours in, I switch gears, go the other direction. I basically leave myself in the game, focus on you guys, just hang out and talk, and we'll go for an hour and a half to 2 hours of that. And that's kind of how the stream rolls. I can be a bit of a rambler, and so if that drives you nuts, not a good place for it. I will try and give you guys some dev background information on stuff that's happening. And in this particular playthrough, our goal is to show you kind of how little management is involved in SS2 if you're playing with the easy settings, which is when you launch the holotape for the first time, it'll ask you if you're a new or returning user, and if you choose new user, it's going to give you settings to match your game difficulty. So if you're on easy, it's going to give you easy SS2 settings. If you're on medium, or rather normal, hard, or very hard, it's going to give you an average experience, which is what my last playthrough was on this channel. And then if you're in survival, it gives you the hardcore experience. Almost all the settings turned on for SS2. And then if you choose returning user, you then instead have 3 profiles to choose from. Automated, which is basically what we're playing right now. You've got City Builder, which is the average mode. That's what most of you, I anticipate, play the mod in. And then Hardcore, again, back to the survival level difficulty with all the bells and whistles turned on. So we're exploring Automated right now. And we are about halfway through Chapter 1. Basically just doing some quests and bouncing around here. So we're working on Vault 81. So let's go continue that. Let's go turn in what we've got. Actually, I need to get some oil too while I'm out here, because I think we didn't have enough for... Although you guys told me there's a vendor in Vault 81 that I could buy it from, but I didn't find him. And I got kind of tired of looking around. All right, let's transfer so we can find some oil. Nothing. Okay. How about, does there happen to be a piece in there? No. Oh, some chalk for what's his name? If I remember, I'm sure I'll scrap it before I remember to give it to him, but... Alright. I guess we should probably make it daylight so you guys can see what's going on here. But let's pop over to here. We'll see if you guys can guide me to the vendor that you said I can buy some oil from. If anybody can guide me roughly from the elevator of the vault to get to him, or is it or was it somebody outside? I can't remember. Jason Lowcrans, thank you so much for the donation. No question, just wanted to show my appreciation and support for the team. You're the man. Every week without fail. This is like it's like you're paying your subscription cost. You're awesome. Let's see here. Let's see here. There's a better chance of him seeing what you're saying. Yeah, definitely at King Gath me, and if there's not an at King Gath in your question, the chances of me seeing it are close to 0. Just because I know I'm real bad at keeping up with chat, so at least that reduces the number of messages I have to try and read. If I filter them out like that. All right. Let's see if I can figure out where this vendor is. You're not a vendor.
Hey, an outsider with a vault suit. There's something you don't see every day.
Do you sell stuff, Neil?
Don't say anything, but man, I'd love to be out there.
You should check it out. It's got a lot to offer these days.
Maybe someday. At the rate we're working these days, maybe sooner than later.
Just send Neil off to his death.
Hope you guys get some breaks at least. You can't work all the time.
Tell me about it. They say it's all the moving parts that have us working round the clock these days. Structurally, I guess 81 is still pretty sound. Vault Tech sure knew what they were doing when they set these places up. Well, I don't want to keep you, and I gotta get back to work. Maybe I'll see you around.
Okay. Well, you're not a salesman.
We
Somebody's
keep
got...
the vault safe.
Do you sell stuff, lady?
Another outsider. What'd they let you in for?
So angry.
What's with the attitude?
Oh, she does trade.
I don't
Okay.
trust outsiders. We didn't need
She
your
looks like
help before,
she
we
looks like a
don't need it
medic
now.
though. I'm not expecting her to sell oil.
Never should have opened up the vault to your kind.
Wow.
I'm a fellow vault dweller.
I don't care where you're from. It's not here.
Hi.
Seriously? I don't want to talk.
You were just offering to trade me a minute ago. All right, all right. We might
Calvin's
be
always
just be
looking for
console
tools.
commanding this in. I'm not gonna run all over the Commonwealth trying
For
to
an
find oil
outsider, you look
today.
like you fit right in.
Thank you. Oh yeah, I'm still rocking my vault suit. Oscar Fry, thanks for answering my question, but I have a follow-up question to Crispy question about gunner attacks in Chapter 3. Will settlement guards be allowed to wear power armor to help defend location if we can pull it off? There's a lot like power armor on settlers is a non-stop challenge that many people have tried to tackle. So I have some ideas about how to do it, but no promises yet. Like I know how to make them do it. It's a matter of the issue I think is always once you leave the area, it tends to then problems crop up. So all right, let's go turn this in.
Hi.
Hello again. Here to talk about our water problems?
You should have plenty of clean water now.
Was that you who cleared the water intake? I noticed the pressure's back to normal. I'm glad someone was able to do something. The water may still have a strange taste, but at least now we won't run out of it. Here, take this. I'm sure Mansfield's already paying you, but I want to give you a personal thank you.
All right.
Yes? You whipping up a new batch of pies today? I heard Alexis promised one to Erin, and I know how you hate to disappoint the
Oh,
little
someone just mentioned Alexis,
Marcus William Somerset.
which that guy just said.
Don't you
Where
know
is
I
Alexis?
think
I
you're
don't
so
know where anybody is in the vault.
Is that your pit boy?
I'm so bad about vanilla locations. You could be an Alexis.
You try telling that to
You
Erin.
wanna saw me stop while you're getting a
I
haircut?
love it. I didn't think I'd ever make it in with the hours I've been working.
But you did. And now you got guts wearing that pit boy in the Commonwealth.
No, well, a lot of chatter going on here.
Found out. Yes, we did.
I wish you would help out.
Who is singing?
But I'll try. I'm there every day. For a half hour here and there. You're gone.
Was that Catelyn singing? Do we have Catelyn just singing? That's awesome if we do.
Another new face.
To the right when you leave the elevator. That's Catelyn. That is Catelyn singing.
If
Oh,
you
that's
want a
awesome.
new
I had
look,
no idea we
stop
did that.
by my salon sometime.
I'm heading out. Don't wait.
Oh, here we go. Is it her?
Again?
Yeah,
But
there
I
we
need
go.
your help here.
No,
Hey
come
there.
here.
Our Commonwealth guest, welcome to the depot. And pardon the clutter, I don't get much time to tidy up these days.
Please, you haven't needed my help in years. So whatever it is, it can wait.
Looks like a lot of junk.
It's only junk if you see it that way. People bring me their broken things, and I fix them. Maybe they want them back, maybe someone else needs them instead. When you're dealing with items that are all over 200 years old, work just accumulates like crazy. Some days it's all I can do to keep my head above water. But you probably don't want to hear about all that. Let me know if you want to take a look.
Yes, give me your oil.
I might be interested in buying or selling.
Great, I have all sorts of odds and ends.
Star Killer Kate, how did you guys end up get the idea to incorporate Vault 81 into the main story? So that was we knew like where we were headed in the grand scheme of like we were trying to get to HQ eventually, and we needed a character like of the cast at the time. I think at that point when in our writing we had Aiden, Jake, and Lupe figured out, and we needed a character to bring on board that would make sense to teach that gang how to run a big facility. And so we came with the idea of a vault would be perfect. Like, what about an overseer? And then it was, I remember the meeting. I don't remember who specifically came up with the idea, but the meeting was between myself, Sir Rick, who's the main writer on SS2, and Super Weevil, who is the main writer on Conqueror. And we came up with the idea of let's do a a deputy overseer, or like a, I don't remember what other names but basically like an assistant to the overseer, and that we could put them in Vault 81. You know, and we came up with the idea of a conflict between them, and then to make it feel more believable, so Rick decided to put in some side quests and kind of make it feel a little like give us more presence there, so it feels like you could forget that we weren't part of it from the beginning of the game. Because like that's been one of our overarching goals all the time with this story, is like make sure it's really hard to tell which stuff is vanilla and which stuff is ours. All right, I can buy a little, but it's not enough. And I'm not going to make you guys suffer through me nickel diming today. We'll get a few.
I swear, it's something new.
All right, now we need to go, because we're doing, especially if we're talking about we're only going to run this series
We got a barber here.
a little while, and there's no reason I need to save my caps. I can actually spend them. All right, so now we need to go into the.
Huh?
I probably have a quest marker actually. Thinking about it, yeah. Help Old Rusty. Old Rusty is over here somewhere. How do we get back there? Ooh, I just saw something that probably has oil in it I can steal. Okay, go to sleep. Shh, shh. Wait. What if I do this? Steal the
Grab that.
It worked. It worked. That was awesome. I've never done that before. All right, but now I gotta drop something. I guess we can drop this. Wait, do we need this? Is it just a straight upgrade to what we're wearing? What was the other right leg? Oh, cryogenic. No, that's just more fun. We want to keep the more fun thing. There we go. Oh, there's a lot of stuff in here. A lot of junk. Does paint have oil in it? I feel like it should. Oh, used oil can. There we go. Dog meat. You're going to be my... I'm going to train you to... No. That's not what I asked for.
Hey.
So go there. You're too close. Command. Hey. Steal oil.
Get that.
Come on. What are you waiting for? No, come on. You're playing Thief Dog now. It's going to be a fun game for us.
Bring it here, boy.
Go get it. Shh. Go get it. Come on, dog meat.
Fetch.
He doesn't want to anymore. He feels bad. Okay. Let's see. Can I pull? Nope. Detected. Shh. Dog meat. Go run distraction. Come on. Get to it, boy. All right. Let's try again. Steal the can.
Bring that here.
Oh, I think he did it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is a great mini game. I'm loving this. I know you guys came for some settlements, but instead we're going to play Dog Cat Burglar. Oh, no. We've been spotted. Just training my dog. It's fine.
Ugh, what I wouldn't give for just one evening of
Ruined
solitude.
our game, lady.
Everything's under control.
Is it down here? How do you get back there?
I wouldn't give for some real time off.
Isn't there one labeled like Huh? Could have sworn there's a real easy path to there and I'm just not seeing it for some reason. You guys are probably seeing it in chat what it is. It's not the clinic. Wasn't it like the generator room or something like that? Why am I not finding it? Reactor. Here it is. That's what I'm looking for. Ta-da! Alright, let's see if there's any more. Duct tape's not oil. Alright, we're going to just console command this. Now, let's see how much we got right now. What do you think, Rusty?
Oh, Rusty.
How can I assist you? Warning! Overdue for maintenance. Pardon me.
Here. Yeah, this'll make you feel better.
Oh,
hey, there it is.
You are most considerate. Nothing like the oil flowing, eh?
I'm carrying too much. I gave him a bunch of stuff and then I got over encumbered. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. Well, that worked out nice. All right, and now we get to go find out if we get the Claudia bug.
She's looking pretty bad in there.
That's the one reason to the one argument to not rush to the hardcore playthrough is I always get a lot of good potential bug fixes out of playing through these quests, because anything I experience in this Let's Play is stuff you guys would likely experience as well, since this is the live. Well, right now I'm playing with the public beta, but okay.
Watch yourself.
You should stop by and see Horatio while you're here. Can't imagine you come across many barbers in the Commonwealth.
There he is.
I've been hearing good things about you. Old Rusty's running at peak efficiency, and the vault's water problems have been solved. I didn't expect such competence from a Wastelander. I must say, I'm pleasantly surprised.
I'm glad I was able to help.
And helped you
Sorry.
have.
Oh.
Now that you've demonstrated your
What?
ability to get a job done, I feel I can entrust you with something more important.
He turned into a
this
vent.
last task,
Oh,
I'll
there
be
it goes.
happy to reward you with a Vitamatic.
All right. What's the issue?
Ever since we opened
What
the
is
vault, our
happening here?
safety has been a
This
key
feels like some
concern.
weird clipping thing,
Routinely send
because you
out
can see
security
that
patrols.
like it's showing the LOD or something.
Recently, one such
Because that's
patrol
clearly the
seemed to
signs that are right
appear.
behind him.
She's not yet overdue, but still, I'm concerned. A mercenary crew resides in the area she was sent to scout, and they've caused trouble for us before. What I'd
Nope,
ask
there he
is
goes
that
again.
you find our wayward patrol
see if
and
I-
bring her
there we go.
safely back to the vault.
Do you know where I can
Oh
find
yeah, I have
her?
no
Yes.
charisma build.
Her patrol route was between here and Forest Grove Marsh, so she's most likely still there. But with
Okay, guys, good
mercenaries
news.
recently claiming that area, she may be in trouble.
Claudia's stash
Hopefully I'm
still
just
not
worrying
in,
over nothing.
but
if
Sir
you
Rick
decide
now
to do
knows how to
this,
put stuff in the
I'd
game.
advise
So
caution.
one of these days he's gonna submit. He's gonna remember to do it and submit me a merge.
Don't worry, I'll find her.
No, good. Once you've found our missing patrol, report back to me, and the Vitamatic is yours. Good luck.
Okay, off we go. So I saw somebody asking about what the Claudia bug is. Occasionally,
Do you wear your vault suit in the Commonwealth?
Claudia will spawn
safe,
under the
man.
world, and so the only way to find her is to TCL, which is not ideal for Xbox players. I've never ever had it happen to me, so I'm really hoping it will, because it's effectively impossible for me to make any meaningful bug fixes if I can't experience it, because then I don't know. I have nothing to troubleshoot, no way to check what it was. So yeah, my thought is we have to do something like keep her disabled until she's like within range of the player, and just hope the player doesn't see it. I mean, like, and if they do, oh well, better that we guarantee that they spawn on top of the ground, because I think what it is she gets enabled before the world is actually loaded, and so apparently that can cause things to fall through the earth for some, or fall through the world for some folks. All right, let's see here. Map. Lost patrol that way. Okay. What's my arsenal here? Oh, that's right. We got this bad boy. All right. Because I know there's usually a Yagoi around here somewhere. Every time I see this, I remember that, man, we really should have had one of our NPCs, especially our recruitable NPCs, come here and open up a shop. Would have been awesome. Don't see any bears. I think we're good. Alright, here we go. Dag 7, is this mod compatible with Crime and Punishment mod? I like us to do for the quest, but not so much for the building. I'm not familiar with that mod, but I mean, we should be compatible with most everything. There are a few places where we conflict with locations, and you can resolve that by any of the locations that we use. We tend to put a little intercom next to the door, so you can turn off our stuff and restore the vanilla, so you can get access to other people's stuff. Let's see here, what do we got? Some synths, eh? Oh, maybe they'll go fight the gunners for us. Oh, we unlocked rare materials. All right. Oh, yep, she's naked. We got the naked bug somebody reported. That's weird. I think she's just wearing a vault suit. I don't know why she would be naked. I wonder if somebody on our squad tried to give her a custom outfit. And so, whoever mentioned her being naked, that looks like that is stock standard now. So now it looks like the gunners are really bad. They're not only killing vault dwellers, they're stripping them naked for presumably unsavory reasons. Oh, there he goes. Yeah, let me put that on my list. Let's see. Whoops. Sorry, dog meat. Actually, I'll save right here. Save Claudia naked. That's no good. I need to get that fixed. Bad enough that she is deceased. Alright. I want to try and get close enough to hear their conversation, because it's always fun. I don't think I have the stealth for it, though. I think they're going to spot me right away. What if we walk real slow? Dog meat, you and I have been training to be burglars. Let's keep going. Nice and slow. I'm doing a little ASMR tonight. Hope I can hear him talking now.
For her weapon like that. They'll never know. Who's gonna tell them? Us? You're right. But still, don't be so squeamish. You're a gunner. Act like it.
Whoops. Pink. Oh, the whiplash on that was pretty painful. Oh no, he's stim packing. Dog meat, get in there and hold him down. Oh no. Alright, I guess we gotta engage. What's our grenade situation like? Let's see. This is for you. Got him. Whoa, and we attracted the ghouls. Oh, he got frozen by my by my leg armor. Awesome. I was like, what? Well, that's a Bugthesda moment. Nope, that was by design. Poor Claudia. All right, let's look at some stuff here. So we've got some gunner's orders. Keep pressure on Vault 81. Ensure water intake remains blocked. Minimal water intake required for Colmex within internal water storage tanks to remain potent. Imperative that V81 residents remain sedated. Don't screw this up. I ordered Captain West. Additional. Berman now takes orders directly from me. Follows commands if they were my own. And then we've got Claudia's personal log, which I think is a voice thing.
Every time I leave the vault, it's the same speech. The Commonwealth is dangerous. You can't trust outsiders. Don't eat the food out there. I know Cedric means well, but, I mean, I know what I'm doing. I am a trained member of Vault Security. I even promised I'd keep a stash of backup gear out here, in case something ever went wrong. I think it'll be safe by that old bridge. I doubt anyone will check there. Oh, well, I suppose I should head back inside. There's not much to report today. Oh! Hold on a second. It's those mercs again. It's the same ones who've been hanging around Forest Grove. They're doing something by the reservoir. Oh, I'm gonna follow them. Maybe I can find out what they're up to.
Click. All right, let's see. How do we get back to Mansfield from here? Oh, I guess I can just fast travel to the vault, of course. Will you please show us where Claudia Mansfield bug out bag is located? It's not in yet. That's what I was talking about earlier. Her stash is actually, it's been one of those to-do lists of things that just never got finished and never made the priority queue because it's just a mistake. And the person who pushed for that note and everything knows how to do it now. So I said, so we're I'm gonna keep poking him about it periodically until eventually he puts it in. All right, let's go find Mansfield here.
Don't make me regret letting you in
Excuse
here.
me.
Oh, you're back. But I can't help but notice there's not a certain someone with you. What happened to the patrol?
They're dead. I'm sorry.
You're serious, aren't you? When she failed to report in, I knew something was wrong, but...
Give me my payment. Damn, that's harsh.
It's a cruel world.
Yes, extremely cruel. Despite the circumstances, you did as much as you could. I and the rest of the Vault are grateful for your assistance. The Vitomatic is yours. You'll find it in the Vault's clinic. Dr. Forsyth has been informed you have permission to take it. Now, you'll have to excuse me. I need to update the Vault's records.
That is some good acting.
I want to hear any negative
you
reports
can
about
hear
you,
him.
outsider.
He's just holding back those tears for our sake. What a good deputy Vault overseer he is too.
Careful, outsider.
He knows he's got to be strong for the good of the Vault. All right, let's head down and get our little gadget. Yeah, Skywise, that is why that makes me very unhappy that we didn't put it in. When I hear stories like that, people putting in so much time trying to find the damn thing.
It must be rough living out there.
Stay out of trouble.
Please direct...
Welcome, welcome.
I
hope I'm not being presumptuous.
Hold on.
But I'd like to ask you a favor. Would you mind donating some medical samples? Even just a blood sample.
Sometimes I've seen people post videos or clips of it where when the camera flings to the right, he's standing right there looking at them, which is awesome. No, but he gave up. He didn't want to follow us over. There it goes. Okay, we got a Vitomatic. This is one of those things where if anybody knows how to do it, I would love to know how to get rid of the little ping we have to give NPCs to make this happen. That was the only way I could figure out how to do this. I'm sure there's ways to do it without, but I was not able to figure it out. Because we had to set it to 1 damage too for it to work.
Is that your Pip-Boy?
So every once in a while I hear a story about somebody accidentally killing one of their settlers.
Now, where did I put those screws?
All right, let's head on up. Head back to Jake. Actually, I think that's our goal, right? Report back to Jake. Yep. Oh, dog meat. What made you choose the name Vitomatic? It was I don't remember how we came up with that. I know we were trying to like make you think of like the Vito thing at the start of New Vegas.
Aaron's cat managed to get out of
And then I think somebody just proposed. We workshopped a bunch of name ideas, and somebody threw that one out there, and we're like, "Yep, that works great. That sounds cool."
Plenty of medical supplies to get you stocked up.
But now if you were to ask me how I come up with a name for something, I'd probably tell you through asking ChatGPT for suggestions. That thing is so good at just like coming up with as an idea seed. You're just like, throw out 20 suggestions for this, and it's a great like writer unblocker. Uh-oh. I heard Yagway. I knew he was coming for us. Alright, let's see if we're going to have to fight him or if we can make it back to Concord. Alright. Here we go. The Deathclaw's still there. Now, does anybody know, I've never tested this, if your character is strong enough, does it let you pick up or drag big bodies like this? Like, if I had like a 10 strength, could I like drag this Deathclaw?
Engaging hostile target.
Don't mind the robot, it won't hurt you. Or at least, I don't think it will. I found it slumped in a corner in the Vault Tech building. Figure I'd repair it. Let it give me a hand bringing back all the stuff we found.
Please contact an authorized repair representative immediately.
I didn't quite get around to fixing its vocal processor. Maybe later. Right now we've got more important stuff to be getting on with. How'd things go with the Ron? You have anything interesting for us?
Take a look.
Hey, I've seen one of these before. It's a vigor tester, right? Lets you measure a person's qualities. How'd they make it so tiny? One I used was the size of a whole cabinet. Hey, hold still for a sec. Well,
so I have it set up to him make him shoot you, but maybe we might have the weapon set up in a weird way where he can't. Oh, I'm supposed to. Oh yeah, that's right. We're going with all angry responses to Jake to try and trigger some of his rarely seen dialogue.
You scanned me without my consent?
Whoa, all right. I'm sorry. I was always messing around. I didn't mean nothing by it. The Ron really found this for us, did he? Not bad. This'll come in real useful. Help us assign the right people to work the right jobs. Here, you should keep hold of this. I think you'll put it to better use than me.
How are things here while I was gone?
Well, as you can see, I've been busy. I've been organizing everything we brought back from the Vault Tech HQ, including the most important thing, the Vault Tech version of a comm hub, or Vault Hub, as I started calling it.
Don't care.
Okay.
Actually, thanks to Vault Hub, I've already made some...
Are you guys saying the volume needs to be upped? I can do that. Just a smidge.
Progress on repairs to the real thing. Turn it on and I'll show you what I mean. I'm sure you remember that noise. What you're hearing there are radio signals from all the nearby ASAMs. Turns out that's how the sensors and the hub connect with each other. Kind of obvious when you think about it. Don't know how I didn't realize sooner.
Leave.
Makes sense.
Now, if you listen carefully, you can probably tell.
I appreciate all
right.
the leave options we have. I'm just not gonna use them
problems
for
with their hub's receiver module.
Keeping things moving.
You can't establish a stable connection. But watch what happens when we bypass the crappy receiver in the Vault Hub and instead patch in the far superior comm hub version. Now that sounds a whole lot better, don't it? Clearly, the receiver from the comm hub works just fine. And that little demonstration is how we can use the Vault Hub to start testing components of the comm hub. Through trial and error, we can swap out parts, find what works and what doesn't, what we need to repair and what we need to replace. It'll be a slow process, but worth it in the end. I think we're finally on the road to getting a working comm hub and more out of our ASAMs.
Took you long enough.
I know. And I really do appreciate your patience in this. Trust me, it'll all be worth it in the end. Oh, and by the way, thanks to that little patch job we just did, technically speaking, we're now connected to every ASAM sensor in the immediate area.
skip to the good part?
This means we can now remotely send and receive data to any nearby ASAMs. So here, take this. That's the holotape you found. The one with the new plot types. Why don't you load into that terminal there?
Okay. Load holotape. There we go. We should get our pop-up in just a second for the tools. There we go. Oh, there goes Jake. Loves to hang out on the roof.
You wanted more out of the ASAMs? Well, congratulations. You just uploaded data for 4 new plot types to all the ASAM sensors in the local area. Now, how's that for a little taste of what the ComHub can do? Not too shabby, huh? Although, keep in mind, when I said local, I do mean local. Right now, our range is fairly limited. At least for the time being.
That's disappointing.
Hey, it's early days. We still got a lot of work to do on the hub. Chances are I'll be able to boost the range and do some other cool stuff, too. In any settlement that's not too far away, you'll now be able to build using those new plots. If you'd like, we could go test them right now. Or if you prefer, you can do it by yourself.
Alright, so normally, for the sake of just moving things along, I would just skip it, but I really want to see if it works okay, because I know a lot of people get stuck on this part
I'd be
with,
more than happy
where
to.
Jake won't respond to the plots you build.
place.
So let's see how it goes today.
Let me just update your Pip-Boy. All right, I'll meet you at that settlement. Don't keep me waiting now.
Okay, off he goes. Alright, so we should be heading to Starlight. Oh, Bobby's here. Oh, that's right, we started to get them showing up and we haven't done any of those quests. And that's okay. Alright, let's head off to Starlight. Gotta admit, I always instantly store the Vitamatic, never use it again. Maybe the mod could guide you a little more with what settler is useful for what, and how to find out, etc. I mean, there's so much in the mod that, like, you know, it's if we explain too much and don't let anybody explore and find anything out, like, it's gonna get real exposition-y or moddy sounding. Like we've kind of accepted that we're never gonna be able to cover every single topic without it feeling bad. So the one thing with the stats is it was never intended for players to it wasn't intended for every player to min-max. It was kind of like for people who figure it out and want to do it, they can. But it was not designed. It was like all along it's been meant to be we'll give you the tool to view the stats, and then that should be enough of a hint to go do it and see what happens. But yeah, we've had a lot of discussions about how much we should tutorialize, and it's a hard line to walk because some people tell us we have too much tutorialization in, and other people tell us we need to add a lot more. So it's like you'll never satisfy everybody. So it tends to be that the tutorialization ends up being kind of minimalist. Like I think we took it too far minimalist in HQ, but I always felt like we hit a pretty good stride with the settlement mechanics as far as like explaining giving you a few basic quests through the plots. I mean, there's like I said, we'll never satisfy everybody. I would love to add some more like optional quests to teach more mechanics, but I don't think it's going to happen. And I saw your thing deep dive about the voice files. That's another thing. Like I don't think it'll ever get addressed unless people report the individual lines that have volume problems, because like we literally have, like I bet we have 12,000 voice files, and so like there's just nobody on the team has time to sit there and listen to them one after the other and compare the volume. So we rely heavily on bulk audio editing, and so like, you know, it's kind of something that has to be crowdsourced there of telling us where the problems are.
Hey there. Good to see you, mate.
As much as I'd love this to be as good as a real game, like we're doing it with a team of like 20 people trying to build a game the scope of something that normally would require 200 people to make.
Using the ASAMs.
So there are definitely some things that end up having to get cut or delayed for years, as like the stash for Claudia. Oh, I can't say shut up to Paul.
You look good, Paul. How are you?
Gotta say, living in one of your settlements has been a breath of fresh air. I haven't felt this young in years.
All right, you know the drill by now. Pick a plot to test and put down a sensor.
Okay. Start it up. Well, we got to get some commercial on. We basically, last playthrough, we just completely ignored commercial because we were really treating our settlements poorly. I did not spend much time building out my resources. It was always just like city plans plopping everywhere, and didn't spend much time at all focusing on that. All right, let's get ourselves some commercial facing the entrance area. That's just gonna feel good. Let's see if Jake wants to engage. Whoa, we got ourselves some strength training. Yeah, on an infinite timeline where like I just worked on this mod forever, like I'm sure eventually we would tutorialize everything. Again, not necessarily right off of the main quest. Like we don't want to make Jake have to explain everything, but you know, giving little subquests to explain a lot more mechanics, I think would be a lot of fun. And it would be a really cool use of the recruitable characters too, right? If you like had some of these random folks who show up, who would make sense for them to have information about different things, would actually give you little quests and teach you about it. I think that would be really fun. Watch Jake build, or watch Jake stand on a pallet. Let's see if they want to get into some dialogue here.
Looking to do a little commerce.
There we go.
All right then.
Yeah, I think I talked about this during the if I had a hammer, that I really want to recode all of these plot sequences, because the only one that works quickly is the very first one. The rest of them are all
This'll be the commercial plot.
super
That's
laggy.
pretty much what it says on the can. It'll allow folks to set up their own businesses. Let them sell wares to you, or anyone else who pays them a visit.
Oh, I'm sure the young lady who was kicking the ASAM would be happy to hear that.
If you ask me, there's a certain charm to a brick-and-mortar store. Or in this case, a scrap wood and corrugated steel store.
Oh, yeah, Sapontis says, I love the Vitomatic with the advanced settlement plots, using recreation plots, train up special stats. Didn't wish, or just wish I didn't underestimate how those stats affect HQ.
Here, I think.
Yeah, I think people who have been engaging HQ have now made recreational training plots like a priority early game to like start getting them in the pool, just to make sure they got some high high-end people available.
Rupka brand ASAM sensors can now allow your citizens the freedom to sell off excess assets without running afoul of Johnny Law. Rupco's automated auditing software ensures correct sales tax is always applied and collected. Never again need you or your citizens fear a surprise visit from the taxman, thanks to Rupco brand ASAM sensors.
Is any of you a Ren and Stimpy fan? Anybody watch Ren and Stimpy back in the day?
All right, what do you want to test next?
There was a song in that show. It was the log song, and for the longest time, for our Robco jingle, we had a placeholder. We were using a few beats from the log song. It was, I kind of wish we had still used it, because I bet the chance of, you know, anybody who has like of that becoming a problem would be basically none. Like who's like somebody who had a connection to that show, or Nickelodeon, or whoever owns it now, happening to hear it and recognizing it would have been so slim. But a few of you would have recognized it and had to go look it up, and that would have been awesome. All right, let's get a recreational plot back here, I guess. I forgot how like non-kid friendly that show was, and I showed my two boys who are 3 and 5. I showed them Happy Happy Joy Joy, and now periodically they'll sing the song to each other, and they quote, if there's a point in the song where like the guy on the radio is talking, and they're like, I'll make you happy, I'll teach your grandmother to suck eggs, and now my kids quote that whole thing, and so my wife just gives me like the stink eye every time they say that, because it just sounds so dirty.
Gives folks somewhere to go after the working day's done. You know, somewhere they can take a load off. Maybe read a book or exercise or something.
I can tell you now, something like that would be a big morale boost.
It's stressful living in the Commonwealth. Sometimes you need somewhere to blow off a little steam.
Yes, I've seen Moral Orally. I used to love Adult Swim back in the day.
All
And
right.
I mean, is Adult Swim still going? Like, I know adult animation is really popular still, but I remember I used to watch all of it. Like, when Adult Swim first came around, I was all in it. Like, one of my favorite comedy things of all time is C-Lab. That was so freaking funny. I could probably quote through most of those episodes because we watched them so many times. Loved me some early day Adult Swim, and then I don't think I stopped watching it because it got bad. I know some people have said it's gone through its ups and downs, but I just got out of that habit.
Or a night on the town rolling the dice with Lady Luck. Leisure is what keeps America smiling. And with Robco brand ASAM sensors, your citizens can now enjoy a multitude of pre-approved leisure activities. So, put up your feet, sit back and relax. Because when it comes to wholesome recreation, Robco has got your back. Yes, Robco brand ASAM sensors. #1 in practical citizen placation, #1 in outstanding quality.
Okay, let's get a martial plot up. There we go.
I can't honestly remember the last time I sat down and had a rest. Maybe I should be the first to use this. It's all looking good so far. Let's keep going.
He's actually hitting some of these a lot quicker than I expected. Like, the first one was really laggy. The second two weren't too bad. This looks like a good spot. We'll plug in this little hole. Actually, can we delete this? Yeah. Plug this in here. Oh yeah, let me leave workshop mode. Okay, and then this one's a little bit slow. Or maybe they were all slow and I was just distracted because I was talking to you guys. Well, at least he's run into it quickly. There we go.
Let's get up some defenses.
Going back to my Chrome Nightingales issue, I think I have an idea for some outfits for them. There's a way I can get them to you and the team.
Appreciate this, Paul.
Oh, you mean like some options to alternate things to put the characters on Xbox?
And why is that?
This plot will allow folks to set up proper
I mean, like, what I would rather do is try and get the existing outfits set up in a way where they can work correctly on Xbox. This next patch, I actually made a little bit more space. I think I shaved another 20 megs off of the Xbox version. That's gonna be a big focus sometime soon. I'm gonna have to just buckle down and start gutting files from the Xbox version. Darthwomp, why can multiple people use the training recreational plots while the one Jake made only seems to handle one person? We just didn't set up the happiness ones. We set up as just a single because they're just kind of a legacy building plan. Like, it was I think part of it is like because the benefits for all of the building plants are magnified by the number of people. So you know, you get a happiness boost for that plot, and then if we added more slots to it, then that would be boosted by every person, which would get I don't know if that would be overpowered or not. I don't know. I couldn't really tell you why we set it up that way. It wasn't really something we thought about. It was the training plots were the first time we were thinking about the multi-person, and then most of the rest of our plots, it's kind of the same way where, you know, most of our building plans are single person. It's just kind of the default state, so it was more like a special case to make anything multi-person.
Robco brand ASAM sensors, securing America one community at a time.
But really, I mean, anybody and Adam Pack authors can make all of their building plans as many people as they want, or somebody could release a skin for that one that Jake makes to make it multi-person, or not a skin, take the building model and make an alternate plan with it, supporting multi-person, then be fine.
Any bad guy should think twice before taking on a settlement with enough of these things. All right.
They're gonna be really scared of this tiny
seems
campfire.
To be going well so far. I'll admit, I was
unlock the cemetery because we already met Edmund.
I had word this might not work. I mean, we are using the Vault Hub to run these new plot types. How's everything look from your point of view? Nothing seems out of place or incomplete, does it?
I don't know.
If you can't see anything wrong, then I guess that's good. What about you, old Paul? See anything that don't look right?
All looks good to me. But didn't you say you had 4 plots to show me? I'm only counting 3. Or are my cataracts playing up again?
No, you're right. We only put down 3 so far. But the last plot requires a little more explanation. So if you're ready, should we get on with it?
Now.
If we have to.
All right, last but not least, we have the municipal plot. Go ahead and put down an ASAM for that.
So there's actually a few cut lines of dialogue for Jake after you build the municipal plot, because there was a lot of so one of the things that, like, I think I've talked about this before on these streams, is one of the mistakes we made both in chapter 1 and chapter 2 was for the writing of the tutorial type stuff. So Rick had to work from my vision for the mechanics, not for how they actually ended up. And so, like, you know, I had it all kind of laid out in spreadsheets and like rough idea how to play, and then I was coding it while he was writing stuff. And then for chapter 3 instead, we changed it to where I'm finishing all the mechanics and then he's going to write the tutorials, and we have like a chunk in the middle of the story where they can fit in. But with the municipal plots, there was something about them that was going to work a little bit differently. And so I had to like just disable a couple of the lines. And I think actually now that we've done all the patches and I've gotten some of the stuff in that was cut at release, I think we could probably restore some of those lines. I'll have to go read those one day and see, because I think the files are still in the mod. It's just they're like just disabled, because when we launched chapter 1, it wouldn't have made any sense for him to say the things that he was saying. All right, let's see if he's going to get to it. Come on, Jake, you can do it. There he goes. Star Killer Kate, this might be a stupid question, but hey, if you use a city plan and decide you want to hand build a settlement instead, is there any way to undo it and get the ASAMs back? To get the ASAMs back, you just run around. I think, no, I don't think so, because I think if it's a, I think city plan spawned plots don't give their ASAMs back. So, no, I don't think so. You could, I mean, you can get rid of the city plan for sure, and you can leave the settlement how it is. So, one way you could kind of do it would be disable the city plan, which you do by, if you activate the little blueprint on the city planner's desk, one of the options will be remove city plan. And I believe that pops up a thing telling you, like, do you want to scrap it all or do you want to just keep it? Or maybe it doesn't even do that. But anyway, if you just remove the city plan and don't scrap everything that's there will stay there. And then you could really just pick up the plots the city plan placed, put them wherever you want, and change them to what the type you want. So you could kind of get them back in that way. And I guess because of that, we shouldn't even stop city plans from giving their ASAM sensors, since you can work around it. We should probably just remove that block and be like, all right, if people want to use this and keep refreshing the city plan to get infinite ASAM sensors, go nuts. Like, there's so many ways to cheat in this game that we really can't stop it, so. There's our perception training, caravan services, all the things.
What a headache! Well, not anymore. Thanks to Robco. With Robco brand ASAM sensors, the needless complexities of city service infrastructure are over. No more worrying over balancing the power grid, ensuring sufficient drainage of waste, or the delivery of safe, clean drinking water. Yes, each of life's essentials available for all your citizens, courtesy of Robco. And remember, only Robco brand ASAM sensors can offer the versatility and stability your citizens crave. If it's not Robco, it's gotta go!
Okay, so now imagine instead of that Robco jingle, you heard this instead.
All kids love log.
Right there, that was that little intro right there.
Kids love log.
That was our placeholder for the ASAM sensor, which. Alright, before I get copyright striked, I'll just paste the video for anybody who wants to go watch it themselves. But that was our placeholder for that for the longest time.
All right, we're done. That's everything. But before we go wrapping things up, I gotta mention that these municipal plots seem a lot more versatile than the other types Robco released. Some of the building plans seemed like they could construct things for governance or even logistical facilities. Although we'll probably have to get the comm hub running right to make use of the real good stuff. But still, pretty nifty, huh?
Waste of time.
Sounds like a waste of time to me.
I know most folks don't exactly find administration or public management an exciting subject. But come on, give it a chance. Now, one of the plots we just tested was the commercial. And commerce means caps. So it might be a good time to talk about taxes.
I do what I want? What?
Whatever. I'll do what I want.
I know taxes might sound boring, but more caps is always good. For you and your settlements. Our settlements are growing. It's going to take caps to keep generators humming.
Okay, so actually, I wonder if I may have re-enabled these lines, because I think some of these tax lines were not enabled in the initial launch.
The people of the Commonwealth can look forward to things being just that little bit better now.
And the reason that is, so when we had SS2 planned on paper, the idea was that caps would be used to fund municipal and martial, because those were kind of like government services. But that's not how the initial balance ended up going, because that was just like lost in conversation between the person who handled the balance and myself, like when we were laying it all out. And then during the rebalance, the summer after it launched, we got that fixed. And then that may be when we re-enabled those tax lines. Maybe not, though. Maybe I'm thinking of this wrong. The Commonwealth owes us.
Well, the people of the Commonwealth better be ready to show their gratitude.
Oh, I'm sure they will. Everything you've helped to do, the ASAMs, the comm hub, the plots, all these things are real life changers.
Well, speaking on behalf of those living in the Commonwealth, I gotta say thank you. All these new types of ASAMs, it's a little overwhelming to think what we could do with them.
Glad you're happy, Paul. If you could tell others what you saw here, spread the word around, that'll be a big help.
You can count on
yeah, so like old Paul's line is almost, I think, speaking for the player there of like, it's a little overwhelming. Here's 4 new plot types with God knows how many subclasses.
You're not free to build pretty much whatever you like, as long as it's not too far away.
Which I think, I've talked about this on stream before, but like one of my long-term goals that I hope we can pull off, and it's hard to say if we'll be able to, because we can't keep poor Tom on the hook forever, is I would love to spread the unlocking of the plot types out a little bit more, and then do have this quest either not talk, for the demonstration, maybe give you some new classes instead as unlocks, and that might be a way to kind of have our cake and eat it too. Oh, Jim's 1973. Thank you for the donation for the Ren and Stimpy flashback. Often when I'm thinking about this, I want to go back and watch some of it, and then inevitably, if I ever try and watch a cartoon, it's like one of my kids just can sense it anywhere in the house. And I guess this is the time of night I should be if I want to watch that kind of cartoon, because I do not need them doing any more quotes. Seriously, go if you want to imagine a funny scenario, go look up the Happy Joy from the Ren and Stimpy episode, and listen to everything that gets said, and imagine that coming out of a 3-year-old's mouth to their mother. You'll see why I don't watch Ren and Stimpy in front of my children anymore.
I need more.
Once the comm hub's actually running, we should be able to build the new plot points anywhere. Say, now that we've got all these ASAMs placed, I wonder if we could get some real-time communication working. You know, two-way radio. I'm gonna head back to the hardware store. I want to look into this. Swing on by when you're free. I'll have something to show you.
Whatever suits you.
I'll catch you later, darling.
You just can't break Jake's spirit, no matter how much of a jerk you are to him. He's like, I just saw the Puss in Boots movie yesterday, which was really, really good. He's like Perito. Can't break his little spirit. All right, let's see here. Do we get another quest immediately? Yeah, where there's smoke. Beat Jake at the hardware store. All right, we're gonna let Jake walk back there. So while we're waiting for him to get back there, let's go find our settler we tried. Potential recruits. Probably heading to Egret. Let's head over there. We'll go talk to them. How has your wife not hit you with a cartoon or a cast iron pan because you're showing the kids that song? I didn't remember it was so bad. I was like, oh yeah, Ren and Stimpy. That was a kid's cartoon that I really loved. And I think I loved it because I wasn't supposed to be watching it at that age. Hey!
Excuse me.
Hola. Carne asada.
Everybody's favorite ghoul that we unfortunately can never get back. I was so blown away by this voice acting performance. I'm like, the ghoul voice is hard enough to do, and then he tossed in a nice Spanish accent on it. It's like, holy cow.
And you are?
Oh, they call me carne asada. That's the only name that really matters right now. I'm looking for a place to lay low. I peddle medicine. Well, chems actually, but for medicinal reasons. They have a shit ton of uses, hermana. Especially out here on a settlement. A stim pack can help with pain or patch up a broken limb. Need a boost to fix a piece of machinery or tech? Mentats. That's what you need.
There's a good Bethesda moment. NPC's head clipping through the ceiling.
Sure. Let's talk.
Right. So running my business often attracts
I really
the
like his
wrong
outfit
type
too.
of
I don't know who made that one.
You
Beebs,
know,
do you know who made that
the
outfit?
raider
I love it.
variety. Now I know I can handle a lot of heat, but even I know when it's too much for one ghoul. That's where you come in, hermana. So to say I got evicted and ripped off doesn't even begin to cover it. But you get that stash back, and I can help the people here. So, what do you say, hermana?
Okay. I'll help you.
Bueno, don't worry, I pay well, and I can help you out here after you help me out, hermana. You won't regret this.
Okay. Hey, we fixed it. I know we had a lot of... His was one of the quests that was bugged in 2.3.0 that we... And I'm running the public beta, so it's fixed here. Good to see. Also good... I always love... It makes me so happy when NPCs are using our animation markers, because I get so many reports about NPCs clumped up and doing nothing that I'm always worried, like, oh, did we accidentally introduce some sort of bug in the AI? And I think it's just... I think part of it is AI, like scripts, are one of those things that the game sacrifices. Like the engine decides, like, okay, we don't need to do this when the game is overloaded. So I think just some folks end up with their games just kind of teetering on the brink of collapse. And so one of the things that eats it is the AI. But we can see lots of folks running around. Oh, that's just generic settler. I've got the outfit injection patch, so. We've got some nice, unique outfits. I like that one. All right. Yeah, everybody using their markers. Love to see it. Okay, let's head back up to Jake now. Yeah, too large. Sneak is one of my favorites as well. I love Sneak a lot. We actually have... Ram, the voice actor, is doing like a ton more dialogue for him. I already did a bunch and is doing even more to make sure Sneak can work with more mechanics. I know some people hate him and just want to shoot him in the face immediately, but he is so funny to me. So he's getting some more love. Oh yeah, that's right. We can't wait in this game. Okay, we'll do it at night. That's fine. This actually feels appropriate for what goes down in this quest.
Hey.
Hey, good timing. I was just about to try establishing a radio connection with an ASAM.
What-de-do?
Sounds like fun.
Well, in that case, come and give me a hand, and we can share the fun between us. You remember
oh,
when we patched
fires
the
back with
receiver
some
module,
snark there.
Right? Well, I'm about to try something similar using the comm hub's transmitter and a frequency amplifier. If those parts still work, we'll have real-time two-way communication between the hub and any ASAM sensor.
Because I'm looking at the B options for like the a-hole response, seeing the leaves there just always just cracks me up, because it feels like you're just walking away from him instead of responding. But that's not what that's for. It's mostly like it's an opportunity for the player to be like, I'm not ready to do this yet.
Parts?
That's right. The comm hub's transmitter and frequency amplifier. Right now, we're running off the ones installed in the Vault Hub. They ain't that advanced, and their range is fairly limited.
Sounds good.
All right. I've patched in the parts we need, but I think we're gonna need more power for this. So I'm gonna head down to Plutonium Well, boost its output a little. Whilst I'm doing that, it'd be really helpful if you could try tuning in the hub for me.
Sure, I can do that.
Great. Just sit yourself down at the vault hub. Keep turning the frequency knob
Oh, that's weird. We unlocked rare materials before we unlocked organic.
until you get a clear signal. Then just sit back and wait for my return. Okay. Won't
Oh,
be
I
long.
bet that's because we probably had, because we built so many city plans, I bet some of them had machine parts before they built up organic. All right, so this is the quest where not most folks, anybody using what is it, full dialogue interface? I think this breaks for them. It's such a shame that, because like the way full dialogue interface was done, they really could have prevented issues like this. So the reason it happens is what they did for full dialogue is in the CK. There are these. There are two lines you enter. One is the short prompt that shows up in the dialogue wheel, and one is the full dialogue line. And for these, we just have the prompt show up, because if we did the full line, and like so, for example, if we had written "tune up" there, and then the player clicks "tune up," then instead of showing distortion there, it would show "tune up." So I think what happens. I'm trying to think of what would happen there for. I don't know what. I think for right now, if you try and do this, you probably just get all blank. Does anybody? What happens when you play with full dialogue interface on this? Is it all blank, or does this just not work at all? So I think we just have to tune down 3 times. I think is the. Although it'll probably be 4 times now because we tuned up once. Yeah, there we go. But anyway, the full dialogue interface could have prevented it by if it would have just detected, like, hey, if the line is blank, just show the prompt instead, and that would have prevented stuff like this from breaking. So it's a bummer that's not being developed anymore.
I hear you.
What the?
Oh, I can hear Brannigan. I don't know if he's talking to somebody else or trying to talk to me.
You're disrupting gunner communications. Do you know what kind of trouble that can get you in? You better tell me how you're doing this, and fast.
Shut up.
Enough questions.
I got more where that came from, and you better start answering them. Civilian gear ain't able to broadcast on this frequency. What kind of hardware are you using? Where are you broadcasting from?
I'm not telling you that.
Either you tell us now, or we'll just track you down. Don't make this harder than it has to be.
Bye.
I gotta go.
Given the strength of your signal, you can't be far. Once we're done with our op, shouldn't take too long to find you. Don't go anywhere.
Bring it on.
Here comes Jake. Click.
Darling!
Uh-oh, he's stuck.
I got back as fast as I could.
What did I do now?
It's not you. It's who you're talking to. I overheard
What
the
is he
whole thing
stuck
on my
on?
Pip-Boy. The hub's broadcast frequency. It must be similar to the one the gunners use. Or at least close enough to cause disruptions. This...
Oh, he's stuck on the
not
box.
good.
Oh, that's funny. Ah, what happened there?
We really don't want the gunners' attention on us. And we definitely don't want them sniffing around the comm hub.
I think the box is supposed to be
This is
disabled at this point.
Not good.
Because this part is all screwed up. Yeah, what is going on here? Hold on, I'm gonna... Alright, we're gonna do this. We're gonna put... Save here. Save... Crate. Screwy. MQ11. Yeah, this is a bug. It's like all this stuff should be disabled at this point. Like I can... And it looks like... And like, I don't even know why these would be on this angle here. I know we had a lot of like funky stuff that happened between Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 with the items in Concord because there was a misunderstanding with how Enable Parents worked. So like for a while, the lights in Concord were stuck. Actually, they might still be actually. The lights in Concord were stuck on all the time because of that, and this looks like another casualty of that never got addressed.
Who are the gunners?
The gunners are a mercenary group. Guns for hire. Huh. Never thought about it before, but I guess that explains their name. Anyway, they ain't exactly the nicest bunch of people.
Oh, it's
you'd run
extended
across.
dialogue interface, not full. Yeah, I couldn't
If
remember
they
which
can find a
one.
reason to
Which
mess
one
with
was the
you,
problem
they'll
child?
do it. By broadcasting on their comm frequency, we've probably piqued their curiosity. They'll want to know what kind of tech we're using. They may even try and take it. I don't think we could afford to let the gunners come here.
I've been spoiling for a fight.
Whoa, wait. I'd rather not fight them if we don't have to. Maybe I could talk to them. Convince them to leave us alone. Hold on. I think I could find where they're radioing from. All right. Looks like they were somewhere northeast of Olivia. Well, guess I should go check it out. Try to find these gunners and see if I could reason with them. Although, kinda nervous. I'm used to dealing with raiders and your typical wasteland critters. But gunners, they're different. They're organized.
You're on your own. This feels like an appropriate character to do that on.
You're on your own with that.
After I said spoiling for a fight.
I know this is a pain in the ass, but I could really use your help on this. Could you maybe come with me? Watch my back?
I've got more important things to worry about.
Oh, I understand.
Poor Jake.
You're a busy person. Okay, well, off I go. If you don't hear back from me, well, maybe come find me. You know, if you got the time.
Help Jake find the gunners from the radio. We could just let him wander off into the sunset on his own. Poor guy. Alright. Alright, while we let Jake go get into position, let's go to... What should I do here? Do I want to do... I don't really want to do another quest. I just want to keep this thing moving. I guess we could just pass time here to make it go. Let's go back to Starlight, and I think I got a couple of new settlers. I need to build a few more residential plots while we wait for him to get there. Shiloh, hello. Is there a way to summon named settlers to you if you want to bypass the recruitment requirements? Like if you just want to cheat them in to get them to you? There's a console command to do it. I believe it's documented on the wiki. So if you go to wiki.simsettlements2.com, I believe the console command is up there. Not positive though. Somebody else could chime in. The console command is not simple though. It requires you to have the IDs of the unlock records, and I'm pretty sure that's all documented on the wiki. If it's not, it wouldn't be easy for me to explain it to you right now. But yeah, there are ways to do it, just not like naturally in the game. You got to use some console commands. As far as otherwise, the shortcut, like our built-in game cheat for it, that's what the Ron's for. If you go use his settler service, he can effectively force NPCs to spawn in even before they do naturally. So then you can get access to them a little sooner. And then for those that spawned in on their own, he'll help you find them, since it's not easy to, you're not gonna, like unless you go visit your settlements all the time, and there's a good chance because those NPCs wander between some of your settlements that you'll just miss them. So that is one of the purposes of the run. Okay, I guess we just need one house here. Otherwise, it says we have 11 beds. So one thing is, if you guys ever notice, I've been looking into the meters a lot because they're a frequent reported issue that the meters on the left are funky. And what I realized, and I'm torn between which way it should be. Maybe I'll do a poll on the forums to see what people think. But the way it was set up in SS1 is it just looked at if you had enough built for everybody. Now it's set up in SS2 to look for do people have those assignments? And I think the reason we switched it to assignments in SS2 is because some plot types have the stat requirements. So you could technically have enough jobs, for example, but some people wouldn't be assigned to them. So then you could think that, oh, I've got enough jobs, but really you don't because somebody can't work one of the jobs. So I think that's why we switched it to assignments. But the downside of that is sometimes you'll have enough things. Like you can see I have 11 beds. Somebody's not assigned to one, and so it looks right now like there's something broken when in fact it's just somebody just isn't assigned for whatever reason. Could be like just auto assign hasn't kicked in yet, or there's something that's just not having somebody assigned to a house. So even though we have enough beds, we need to trigger an assignment. So we're gonna actually do that. Let's see if I've got. Did I build a city? No, I didn't build city manager tools. So let's do that real quick. Did I build a city planner's desk in this settlement? I don't think I did. Well, if I did, it would be over this way somewhere, I would imagine. I tend to always put stuff near the center building just so I remember where it is. No, I don't think I did here. So we'll put one out right here. Hopefully I got enough resources. And no, oh, just rubber though. We could find that. Steel, steel, Come on. Kind of. Oh, yeah, I guess these would be fusion. Do they not have... Well, they have wheels. The rubber's all gone. Rubber seems to be like something I should just find everywhere, but I guess that's only in Sanctuary. None? Are you kidding me? Alright, we're going to just TGM, so I don't want to waste more time dinking around, because we only got about 15-20 more minutes I want to do in playtime, and then we're going to go to hangout time. But I think we can finish where there's smoke before we do that. It's a good place to stop. Okay. Let's go craft ourselves tools, city manager tools. And the city manager tools are basically all of our little tools in one. It's kind of meant to be the MCM for Xbox players. We'll favorite this. And we want town meeting gavel. Ugh. Let's see, let's gather homeless. Let's find out who is not assigned to plot yet. This guy. Alright, let's pop in. And let's find him a house. Alright, any of these have a spot available. And it could be that maybe one of the beds is vanilla and he's just not assigned to vanilla. Actually, I'm betting that's what it is. Let's see. I bet there's the bed up here is not assigned to anybody. I think that's one of the flaws in SS2's. Yeah. So the way SS2 is set up right now, at some point we patched in to make it so that Workshop Framework's auto assign gets turned off by default when you install SS2 because they conflict. But one of the things that having one of the things SS2 does not do right now is it doesn't fetch vanilla items that were already in the settlement when you started and put them in the auto assign queue. So like beds like that or like the Abernathy's don't get added to the auto assign queue. I believe city plan items do, and I think things you build manually get put into the auto assign queue for SS2, but those vanilla ones don't. So that's why that occurs. And I think Abernathy is the most common place I get reported of like, hey, the meters are broken in Abernathy. And I think it's actually just that people don't get assigned by SS2's auto assigned to those beds. That's probably something I should just put on the fix list and just make it scan periodically for vanilla items and toss them in the auto assign queue because that wouldn't be an expensive function. Okay, so we've got plenty of extra jobs because we have a bunch of them queued up. Since everything's free, we don't actually need caravan services. We can actually, this is like one of the rare times we can get away with it. But I will build it because somebody had a good suggestion of what I should do with this playthrough is play through a good chunk of Chapter 1 and then do the quest skipping to get to HQ. And then I can show you guys how that plays in easy mode. And I think that's a great idea. So we can get kind of best of both worlds. Because I think we'll finish up through the Stodge and Friends, which is the end of like the settlement unlocks. I think that's a good place to stop Chapter 1 and then skip ahead to HQ. I think that sounds like a really good idea. Alright, so let's go ahead and build the caravan services, knowing that we're going to get to potentially HQ. Could be as soon as next week, to be honest with you. Don't get the hiccups. Alright, we'll preemptive put this as a caravan services. There we go. Alright, let's head out and help Jake. Liking Pete, which settlement mods do you use besides SS2? All I use is Place Everywhere, Workshop Framework, and occasionally I'll use Workshop Plus, which is my other mod. I don't know if I'm using it in this playthrough. I don't think so. And basically I try and use only mods I'm responsible for, with one exception being HUD Framework. I guess two exceptions. I'm using HUD Framework and then F4SC plugins. I don't consider F4SC mods for this case because the plugins don't tend to cause a lot of issues with that are hard to troubleshoot, because I'm trying to, with this playthrough, in addition to showing how the mod plays and showcasing some of the quest content, I'm also trying to get useful saves for bug fixing. And so if I have other people's mods installed, it kind of becomes a oh, what's going on there? A wild card. Like I can't be certain that I can't be certain that my save isn't being messed up by another mod, so I just don't use any. When I'm playing, and I'd say when I'm playing without, oh, I'm still on TGM. Good thing I did that little combat so I didn't have to cheat in the big battle. And I went to the wrong location. So when I'm playing by myself, though, like just for fun, I think the only mod I usually use for settlement mods is what's it called? Longer power lines, really. I don't tend to use a lot of them because I just let some settlements build it all. So if I wasn't doing up these playthroughs with the double intention of trying to find bugs, I would probably be playing with most of the add-on packs. But other people in chat can tell you all the great workshop mods because a lot of folks use SS2 with those. Arm yourself with the camera, yeah. The funniest moment in King Gas stream history. Not close. Right away. Let's see. What else can we do? Let's drop some Nuka. Oh, that's not enough. There we go. Alright, now we're going to save here just in case, because this is another one of those spots where a lot of folks report bugs. I would love to have a save right before it happens. MQ11 is what we call where there's smoke. Pre-Aiden. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can bug this out. And that two-handed weapon, maybe. I wonder if we'll be part of it. Cutscene.
Who's this? More gunner operatives?
For the last time, I'm not a gunner. I just wanted to find and talk with them. Oh, darling, thank God you arrived. I could really use a little help here. This fella seems to think we're with the gunners. Don't suppose you could convince him otherwise?
No, see, it's working. I wish I could figure out what the combination is. Like, some people have sent me saves even with it happening. And, like, the best... Like, we know that see-through scopes causes it if you have a weapon with one of those scopes. But some people have shown me vanilla saves where they don't... Or saves without see-through scopes, and it's just, like, vanilla weapons. I think it's certain legendary weapons, something like that. I have no idea why. Because it's such... This scene, I feel so much better. Like, I could easily prevent that bug by just not having the player point their weapon. But, man, does this feel better when players are pointing their weapon.
Look, all I need is for you to put down the gun. Then we can talk this through.
Not gonna happen.
Look, friend, I'm Jake, and this here's my partner. And we're not with the gunners. So please, just put the gun away.
You first.
Okay, that's fair. See? Putting it away.
All right. Assuming you're not gunners, why were you looking for them?
We were hoping to discuss something with them.
Huh. Well, I doubt you'll get much of a response, but if you want to strike up a conversation, go ahead. I believe that one was the leader.
That's one of those moments when designing the quest where I'm so happy we figured out how to control the camera sometimes. Because it's real wonky. Like, sometimes you'll expect the camera to do a particular thing and it will just do something totally different. But in a couple of cases, we were able to get the camera to pretty reliably do what we wanted.
Why don't you tell me what happened?
Yeah, I'd like to know that myself. If you don't mind us asking, what went down here? And who are you?
Gunner expansion. They tried to seize this place. Locals resisted. Maybe even fought back. You can see the results for yourself. By the time I arrived, it was too late to help anyone. So I found a concealed position on the overpass and administered a little Wasteland retribution.
You know, hearing this again in headphones, I think Aiden's audio quality increased a lot in Chapter 2. And that could just be the engineer who handled his audio. Because it's the same voice actor, obviously, and he's professional. Like, this is what he does for a living. So I assume he didn't change his equipment either between those two, but maybe he did. But it definitely, I can hear more, at least in my headphones. Maybe when I tested it originally, I wasn't wearing headphones, but it definitely sounds more... like reverby than his Chapter 2 stuff. All right, let's see here.
Sounds like justice to me.
A bullet to the head is a quick death. Justice would have been slower.
You still haven't told us who you are, or what you're doing here.
I'm Aiden, And without sounding too melodramatic, I hunt down gunners. And on this squad's trail for a week. This is the 4th settlement they've hit.
Bastards. All of them.
Gunners have been unusually active lately, laying claim to territory all over the Commonwealth. This settlement was just the latest conquest. Saying that, this place used to just be a solitary hut. I've no idea how they built up so damn fast. Sudden growth must have been what made them a target.
Sudden growth? Oh no. Don't tell me the gunners attacked this place because I gave them ASAMs.
What? The hell you talking about?
They're these little sensor things. Help people build stuff. I've been providing them the settlements for months now.
Huh. Then this attack was your fault.
Hey! Now you just wait a minute. You better watch what you say, mister.
So I've always been curious. Any of you guys who played Conqueror back when we launched it and kept up with all the patches and the characters and everything, how many of you were really excited to get to this moment and see Aiden appear? For those of you guys who don't know, Aiden is the antagonist in our Raider story, and we brought him over. This was my idea to, and I know this was a, I don't know how much Sarik loved that I made him do it, because it was suddenly he had to write for somebody else's character, but I was such a huge fan of the Conqueror story. I was so bummed when we didn't get to finish it. I just loved the writing that was done in it. I loved the characters, and I wanted to see more of them. And we almost brought Ophelia into this story too. I even got, like, the voice actress originally had said, yeah, I'd love to be part of another mod. And then again, things kind of went off the rails. So we ended up, she was going to be in the role. Ophelia would have been in the role Teresa is in now, had we done everything I had hoped for. But I think Sarek is glad we didn't, because that would have been just way more, like, writing 2 characters that aren't his would have been a big pain. Would have been constantly trying to sync up with the writer of Conqueror. But anyway, I've always been curious how you guys who played through Conqueror liked the Aiden appearing in this story. I mean, I know we teased it. I think it's in the original story trailer. He's like right at the tail end of it. But I always thought it would be cool. I thought people would dig it. No idea if people actually dug it for that reason or if they just like Aiden as a character.
That's a bold statement.
Whether it was intentional or not, you made them a target.
You can't blame me for what the gunners did. Folks deserve the opportunity to make a better life for themselves. And I don't appreciate some jumped up vigilante accusing me of... Whoa, wait. You don't need to...
Reinforcements. Hope you can fight.
Nope, I'm not a good fighter, but... Whoa, wait, do we have any jet? Do we have... Uh-oh, we better get our jet ready. We're gonna need it. Let's just go ahead and favorite that. Let's be realistic about our skills. Alright, we need some, oh, no, how about... Oh, first whiff. There we go. Oh no, oh no. It's not over, Jake. What are you talking about? Oh, I got that tree real good. Oh, nice. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. No, no shot, no shot. There we go.
Big mistake!
Thank God Aiden and Jake both do just crazy damage. I can imagine in harder difficulties, this is a pretty nasty fight.
And that's how it's done.
the friendliest combat line you ever heard. Oh god, there's more. Gotcha. Ugh. Whoa, just spamming those. Oh. Get him, dog meat. Hold him down. Alright, level up. Take it. Oh, hey, buddy. Oh, Jake. Oh, God. Round 2. Here we go. Oof. Oh, nice. Way to go, Aiden. we got the sprint. Let's go, go, go. Why didn't that fill my crit meter? What's going on here? Oh, I guess, do you have to hit for it to fill your crit meter? Uh-oh. Get him, get him, get him. Nice. Oh, and the sprint too. Let's go. Did we get them all? Oh, no, still another one. Get off my dog. Oh. There we go. Turn you into a puddle. You're okay, dog meat. I think only Jake ate it during that. Alright, where is Aiden?
You handled yourselves well.
Yeah, well, felt the need to blow off a little steam after someone accused me of causing what happened here.
Not gonna let that go, are you? Say what you like about them, but the gunners run a tight operation. Sooner or later they'll figure out what happened here. Chances are you and your partner will be flagged as persons of interest.
Oh, great. That's precisely the kind of thing we came here to avoid.
You can expect more gunner attention from now on, so watch your backs. And they'll give you even more trouble than they give me.
Is there a way I can communicate with them?
You could try, but I wouldn't advise it. At this point, you put too many of them down. They're not going to be interested in hearing your side of the story. Best thing would be to just lay low.
So what are you gonna do now?
I'm leaving, and so should you. There's no guarantee more reinforcements aren't en route.
Yeah, well, nice meeting you.
Yeah, whatever. Oh, and cut the charity with those sensors. They're just chum in the water.
Alright, where's Jake?
Hey there.
You think he's really gone?
You're upset about something, I can tell.
You heard what that guy said? That this was all my fault? You don't think he was right, do you?
Uh-oh.
That given these people ASAM's made them a target? That I'm responsible for bringing the gunners here?
Oh, I don't get to tell him. Yeah, it's your fault.
Does it really matter?
I don't know. Yes, no, maybe. Who knows? I'm just glad that Aiden fella's gone. There's something about that guy that rubbed me the wrong way. Maybe it was the gun that he pointed at my head. And I'm not sure I trust his version of events, regarding what went down here.
At least he didn't shoot us.
Hey, I know this may seem odd, but I think I want to stay here for a while. We may have stopped these gunners coming to Concord, but in doing so, we might have dug ourselves into an even deeper pit. I need to think things over. Maybe come up with a new plan of action for us. Or at the very least, reevaluate how we're doing things now.
See you later, then.
I won't be here long. Come find me at the hardware store later. And stay safe out there, all right? If anything happened to you, well, just stay safe.
I think I probably showed this last thing. I think there's a little conversation you can get out of him. Oh, I guess I should take a laser pistol. That might be a nice mid-range weapon for me. I think that's what I ended up using last playthrough too. Give me all your bullets. Any other corpses out here? Okay. Alright, let's go see if we can get... Oh, whoop, come on. And another one. We can get one more conversation out of Jake, if I'm not mistaken. There's also probably some loot in here if I want to poke around. Oh, yeah, look at that. Oh, and apparently we needed an aluminum can.
I'm gonna stay here a while. I'll see you back at the hardware store later.
Yeah, no, it's just that. Okay. Alrighty. Well, I think that's a good place to stop for here, because then we'll have After this, Memory Lane, and then Who Can ASAM, and then that would be a good point, I think, to fast forward to HQ. And we might be able to do all that next week, so this might be like a little 6-episode miniseries, and then we'd be on to hardcore mode after that. There'd probably end up being a gap in there where I'll do another live bug fix session or another Bethesda Mod School live between the end of easy mode and the start of hard mode, because I gotta gather my nerves about me in preparation for the challenge. Let's see here. I guess we can level up because we've got 3 of them now. Let's see. We're just going all in on this VATS tree here. What can we get? What else can we get here? Chance of filling your critical meter. Yes, please. Let's see. What's this? Critical banker. Your patient. Yeah, I'm not gonna save any right now. I'm just gonna be burning them off. 50% extra damage. Let's see. Idiot Savant. Oh, yeah, we gotta get that. What else can we get here? Bloody Mess. Maybe we'll get the 10th luck point. And that way we can get Ricochet. Yeah, there we go. All right, all in on that luck character. Well, I guess perception wouldn't be perception and endurance wouldn't be bad, just for making it work a little better. All right, we'll go do our usual thing. We're gonna pop back over to our settlement. So this is the point in the stream where I'm gonna just answer questions, talk to you guys, hang out, keep the game running for some background noise and footage, and then if you guys have anything you want me to show you in game, we can do that too. I've got an end game save in my save folder right now, so we can jump to that if you guys need to see anything about HQ or something along those lines. Let's see here. We'll go save. Easy mode. Actually, I don't remember how I was naming these. Easy mode LP. Day 5. End of session. That feels like that's not how I usually name these saves, but I can fix it later. All right. End of session. There we go. Short win. Thank you for the donation. No message, though. Well, I appreciate it anyway. Okay. So one thing I guess we can, while I'm waiting for you guys to start hitting me with those messages, I have got, so we started doing something after a couple streams ago. We ran into a problem at Red Rocket. I don't know if you guys remember. We were doing a city plan there, and it kept blotting out the sun. Pra was kind enough to write I guess I should go back a little bit. So the reason that happens in that settlement, and some of you have experienced other issues related to this in some of our city plans, particularly with ROTC, but there were also some, there are potential for other city plans to have this issue, is we created a script, or Pra, again, basically the master of Xedit as far as I'm concerned, created a script to take some of our city plans and merge chunks of them into single, what are called static collections, which is just a group of items. And the goal of that is the less items the game has to deal with, the better things can run. I'm not going to go to, I was going to go to Red Rocket, but that's going to just be ugly. And so a couple of things can happen from those static collections. One is if you have a mesh replacer in your load order that's replacing one of the meshes that we used in a static collection with something that's not compatible with a static collection. So if it has different physics or if it has an animation on it, then what can happen is the game can crash. Or some of you guys may have seen it before. You'll go into an area and there'll just be this giant green mess of triangles, and I think that's what's happening in Red Rocket. So anyway, Pra wrote a script to defragment them. So basically or refragment them, I should say. Basically take those static collections that we created and bust them back apart. And that is something we will have done for the next patch. So for Friday, we should have all of the Rise of the Commonwealth settlement, or build city plans fragmented again. So they'll have a few more items in them, so we'll lose that performance bonus. But I think the trade-off is worth it, because we did that for SS1 because SS1 was super inefficient. So it had, we needed to save every bit of performance we could. I think with SS2 we're way more performant, so I think we can get away with the full city plans without the static collections, and then that will make it so that those of you guys who are using mods with mesh replacers, you won't crash. And then even some of the ones without any mesh replacers, like the Red Rocket, they won't have that issue where occasionally just something funky goes on, like but while you're turned away from it, some mesh gets in a weird state and blocks out the sun. So I'm excited about that. I think that's gonna get ROTC plans in SS2 a little bit closer to where we want them, because I know there's lots of reports about them being funky, and that is one of them. So that'll be another tick off the box. I think last patch we fixed up the popular, one of the recent patches we fixed the population issue, and now that'll be fixed. And then I think the last remaining big issue in ROTC after that will be that probably, actually, I'm trying to think of what the issues would be. I mean, one of the issues is going to always be there, which is just that the settlements were all designed around using them all, as opposed to, so like there's a lot of them that'll have like no food or whatever, and that's often reported as a bug, but that was actually by design, because we leaned heavily into the idea that players would have a caravan network between all their settlements. All right, let's get this set up to look a little nicer. 2B52A, set time scale to 0. I was gonna, and the reason I started wandering out of the settlement and then changed my mind is I was gonna go show you guys one of the city plans, like what happens after we break the after we fragment, but I realized I don't have any of them built in this save, so that would not help. Nick Carter, do you think the Fallout 4 big update will be before Starfield or after? I would guess after. Like if I had to put money on it, they would time it with some sort of Fallout thing. So like bomb drop day, or you know, the anniversary for when Fallout 4 released. That's when I would guess they would do that Fallout 4 update, but I could be wrong there. So I mean, I'm really hoping that we get Starfield delayed until November. That would be best case scenario from what I'm doing. I mean, as a player, I would love to have it tomorrow, but because we're trying to finish this before it gets out, I would love to have more time. But I would say that depends. So like so yeah, bomb drop day seems like it would be a really good time to do it, right? Because if, like, say they have Starfield queued up for, like, you know, November 15th or something, or whatever day in the middle of the month happens to land on a typical launch day for games. Like, when do games launch anymore? Do they just do randomly, or is it for like it used to be always games would come out on like Wednesdays or Tuesdays or something? I don't know if they still do that or if nobody cares anymore. And they're just, the days are arbitrary. But like if a good date in November, like, and then for them to do it on bomb drops day, like a few weeks before Starfield, that would encourage players to go be playing Bethesda games. So everybody would be all hyped. They're playing Fallout 4 again with the new patch, getting excited for Starfield. Like, that seems like a good move for them to do. But if it's going to launch in earlier than that, then I would say they'd probably delay. They don't want to take away thunder from Starfield to launch that. So then I think you want to space it out quite a bit. So like, I think you want to do something like that before Starfield comes out. It's the same thing. Like, some people have been talking about how you don't want to launch like other Bethesda titles before Starfield, because Starfield is going to be like such a massive, like, big release. Like, it's been so long since Bethesda's released a new open world game, and then, like, you know, with the, like, it's a different story. Like, when Fallout 4 came out, it was a huge thing for them. It was like a huge release, made a ton of money and everything. And I think since then, like, and Bethesda has gotten an even bigger reputation for, like, just everybody loves Skyrim, and like, that is what they're riding on. This is like the first new IP from the company that made Skyrim. Like, I think this is going to be a big day for them, and I think they're going to anticipate it's going to eat up a lot of players' time for a long time, and it's going to basically hog the gaming sphere's spotlight for a while. So I don't think they want to be releasing competing games. So I would assume that they also want Redfall to come out before it. They don't want the Fallout 4 update to come out in the middle of it. That'd be my approach if I were in charge, but I am hardly a marketing expert. Shortwind, oops, are there too many bugs to try survival mode? I don't think so. I'm not sure what in particular you're referring to. If you're talking about when I said that I have to get the nerve up to do hardcore, I was just talking about how, like, SS2 with all the options on is a really, like, it's a really tight, like, punishing experience with all the mechanics, and that's because some people asked for that. Like, throughout the development of SS1, I had tons and tons of requests of people like, no, I want it harder, like, make it harder. I don't want free buildings. So when we did SS2, we're like, oh, that's a chance we can placate those folks. And I hear from a lot of people that it's an extreme challenge. It's very difficult to make a functioning empire in hardcore mode. Some people say it's overtuned, and that's why I want to experience it, because I want to see how bad it really is. Because like on paper, it's doable. Like I have spreadsheet proof that you can create a network of settlements, and they will all balance out over time. But it's difficult to get there. CBR Gamer, hello. Does the update for RTC city plans also mean we can now use place everywhere to remove individual items? Yes, that is one of the other benefits, is that because right now with those big static collections in the city plans, sometimes you'd go to try and move an item or scrap it, and you'd see that you're highlighting or scrapping a whole bunch of different items. So when we fragment them, that'll go away. You'll have to refresh any of those ROTC city plans to make it work, because basically what we did is we didn't destroy the static collections in the mod. They're still there, but in the city plan record, we replaced that entry with an individual entry for each item. So that basically, if you refresh the city plan, or if you build it after that next patch, that you will get the version without those big static collections. Let's see. Rec Edsley, I really hope this Fallout 4 update gives us Xbox players a little more space. Yeah, that would be amazing. That'd be a pretty big game changer for you guys. Because right now the 2 gig limit, I mean it's warped our development in a lot of ways, because like there's a whole lot of features where I've just said no to, or art requests from the team where I'm just like, no, we can't do it. We don't have any room. Like fortunately we came up with the idea for extended at some point, and that kind of changed the tone. But for the longest time we were just like, if we can't fit it on Xbox, it's not going in the mod. Kaz Daddy, I know it's still a while away, but I think it would be really cool if you guys did a countdown live stream for Chapter 3 being released, reviewing the fan works we've received and revealing new merch, assuming you're not crunching out the last bug fixes in the precious minutes before launch. Well, that is how I operate. I will be crunching out, trying to squeeze in some last stuff before on launch day. I would love to do something like that, and maybe because we're spending all this extra time in dev, we could do something a little different. But yeah, that's not a bad idea, because this will be, yeah, if we arranged for a launch day on a day and I was streaming beforehand, that could be fun. But then I think for a lot, I think the problem is, if that's what I'm doing, like if I'm doing a live stream beforehand, that means the mod's done, and then you guys will be like, just release it. I don't want to listen to you yammer. So that would be my argument against that. Would be like, if it's done to the point where I don't need to be trying to squeeze in last minute things, then it should already be out. Because it's not like we're not living on some marketing hype like a studio where it needs to come out the same day for everybody. It's kind of just like, the reason that it doesn't go out first thing in the morning for when we're doing these things, or go out at midnight, is because we're usually trying to squeeze in very last minute stuff. Because it's a mod and we have that freedom to do that. We're not... It's not the same thing as a real release. Computers say no. I love that idea. Imagine a countdown live stream with different guests over time of the stream, showcasing different stuff and just talking and having fun with the community. Yeah, again, like my only concern would be that I think what it would end up being more would be a live stream, like post-launch live stream. Like, so for most of us on the team usually hang out for a couple hours on launch day and just watch all the feedback that comes in on the launch trailer, and like we read the comments that come in on the Nexus page, and like just hang out and chill for a couple hours. So it would be kind of that, but with the community as well. But then again, you guys would rather be playing the mod than watching us stream, so then why are we streaming? Because I wouldn't want to. I'm definitely not going to stream my playthrough of Chapter 3 right away. I want to give you guys time to enjoy it. So. If again, we keep talking about the Starfield launch and how that's going to impact things. If for some, like if say like Starfield is announced to be launched in like June or something, and we're like, okay, then we're going to get this out by May, where we have like a pretty tight window, then, my playthrough might come sooner, just because it'll be like, I'm going to get sucked into Starfield just like you guys. And so I'll be, disappear from the modding scene for a month. Then I might play it sooner. But what I'm really hoping, I keep saying this and I'm going to keep saying it again and again, really hoping for a November release of Starfield and us to get Chapter 3 out like this summer. And then we'd have a nice buffer where I could do patches in peace. And, then we could do all the things. That would be the ideal. Sa Evo, I got the PC game, but it will not play. It just goes black screen. I still can't get into HQ on Xbox. So I'm guessing you're saying you bought Fallout 4 on PC and it will not play. It goes to black screen. Has anybody else experienced that? I've never had that. So can't get into HQ on Xbox. Does it crash for you when you try and go in there? Tom Ratzlaff, is there a fixed workaround for the Ron not talking to you when I want to find a settler? I finished the chapter 2 quest line. No, I've never experienced that. Is anybody else experiencing that? I can like look on my save. I'm pretty sure he's still good because I have a in-game save loaded up. Let's see here. Let's go see if maybe the Ron is broken in the current patches and I just didn't notice. Down to, where is my save? Here we go. Day 39, sure. All right, before I read any more messages, I'm going to go to the Ron because I know I'll get distracted and forget to check for you. Yes, people are suggesting video card issues maybe as the black screen. Could need to update your drivers.
You should know, people have been...
It's really a shame. I mean, that's really a shame that Bethesda got rid of their forums because I bet there's a solution to it that was on their forums and now that information is all gone. Really hate this dumb move a lot of companies are going to getting rid of forums. I think that's a really bad mistake. Especially for support. Like, my God, like people will help each other. Some, you know, people will complain and make fun of people on the internet for not wanting to read things, but I guarantee you that
I'm not supposed to talk to people I don't know.
For every person who complains about having to read or who doesn't read and posts a repeat post, there are 10 other people who did read, get the solution and not have to
broke up with my girl.
Require personal support. All right, going to the Run. So this is my save from my last Let's Play where we played on normal difficulty. So this is after everything's done. We finished all of Chapter 2. We finished most of the recruitable characters. So this should be similar to what you've got going on, Tom.
Whoa there! Did it just get cooler in here?
Excuse me.
Welcome to the Ron's Information Emporium. How can the Ron help you today?
Any idea where I can find someone?
Talent pool's tapped out. You'll have to follow up on the leads you already got. Oh yeah.
I'm good for now. Thanks.
So
See you
I mean,
later.
it seems like he's still talking. I don't know what could have happened. I mean, maybe, let me see. Did you do one of his radiants? Maybe that's the issue. I know some of the radiants are funky. Let's try that.
You won't find a more comprehensive depository.
Looking for a job, if you got one.
If you want more work, that's cool. But
oh, I've already got
I'm good for now.
Apparently
Thanks.
I took a radiant from him a long time ago. I never did it. Let's see here. I don't remember what it's called. Oh, I have so many quests. Knowledge equals profit, this one. Find some items for the Ron in Corvega assembly plant. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's like, because maybe I need, if I try and complete that quest and then it breaks his dialogue, maybe something like that. Let me think how I can test this easily. Let's see. I think I have the creation kit open. Let's do, we'll go to quest here. We'll go to the Ron. All right, let's do this. We'll go SQS. All right, how does this? I don't remember how this is set up. Let's see. It's only got 2 stages. That's odd. All right, quest stages. Item found. All right, let's see what happens if I just click that. If I just run that, can't hurt anything in this save. So we go set stage. 10. Okay, completed. Find items for the Ron. Return the charge card to the Ron. Let's see what happens.
Excuse me.
oh yeah, it's business time.
All right, so let's first try this.
Any idea where I can find someone?
Talent pool's
No,
tapped out.
so that doesn't block it
You'll
either.
have
So
to
it's not the radiant, but let's see if we can turn this on.
You sure did. And here's your pay. A pleasure doing business.
Oh, even that works. Okay, so yeah, I would assume, Tom, whatever you run into is probably some sort of mod conflict. It's really weird for us to have. So it could be a mod conflict, or it could be a bug with another quest. So generally, no, I'm trying to think of what this could be for you. So what I would say is try talking to other characters. Do you get the same type of thing where you get brickwalled? Because there's a general bug that can happen in Bethesda games, where if you have a mod that doesn't condition one of its characters' dialogue correctly, then every character will try and speak it. And if that character is not set up with those voice files, then they won't be able to speak it. And then it can break like every character's dialogue setup unless they have there's a priority system. So if I tab over to the Ron's dialogue, and you look at his quest on the tab here, so like for example, so his priority is 42. If there was some other quest you had that had a priority of 43 or higher and they had bad conditioned dialogue, then it could lock out any character whose dialogue was under 43 or under whatever that quest is, whatever their priority number is. It could lock them out of talking. So I would think if that was the issue, you would have a whole lot of characters that were in the same state as Ron. Does not appear to be a problem with the base mod right now. All right, going back up. Simpanta. I thought Claudia was supposed to be naked. Real dark story. I stood there for a second, maybe cried a little. No, not supposed to be naked. That was actually some sort of bug. Actually, you know what? Since we're dinking around in the creation kit, why don't we check on that? Let's see what's going on with Claudia here. Claudia. Yeah, my assumption is that so occasionally when we're tinkering with outfits, something will slip through because it's we've talked about we need a naked test on all our characters. It's like some script or something to like run them all in front of us and cycle through their outfits and test them all. Because occasionally we accidentally put, especially because we have two variations of. But yeah, see, she's clothed in the CK, so that's interesting. So that means, okay, so it could be, let me see what she's using. Because if she's got custom armor for some reason. Nope, she's just using Vault 81 security. So the fact that she's naked is very strange. I wonder if, let's see, let's jump to her record here. Because if she was in one of our outfits, like a lot of times one of the reasons that we end up with weird outfit problems all the time is because we have effectively 3 different versions of the mod as far as outfits are concerned. We have the base mod, we have the Xbox version, and then we have the SS2 extended version. And so sometimes we just get like effectively confused about our configurations, and so that's often why we have outfit issues. But she doesn't even have a custom outfit, so that's just like a vanilla outfit gone awry, which is very strange to me. Yeah, this is CK is nice and slow. All right, while we're waiting for that to load, Kes Daddy says if people complain, I'll knife. Choo-choo, what made you guys choose GNN for HQ? I mean, because we all, obviously, like, the 2 most important locations for the gunners, at least from, you know, like, the GNN is a natural, like, that's clearly their headquarters. I think even in canon, I think that's, there's, like, lines to insinuate that, or notes or holotapes, like that GNN is their head of their main base of operations. Like I think that's like a known thing. And it was like, so one of the kind of underlying themes of SS2 is communication is important, and like that, like we built it right into our logo. And obviously, like something like GNN having, you know, being a TV station, having that giant antenna, it like played into that so well. Our story happened to be going that direction of using the gunners as a villain. So so I couldn't. So what I think the better question would be, how did you guys end up on HQ as a gameplay element? And only Surik could answer that. Like I ran with it. Like he pitched that idea, and I don't remember who he was in discussion with, who came up with it with him. But I fell in love with it and like took it too far, I think. But yeah, so I would say the GNN was just the perfect fit. Like it made sense. It fell in line with our story, and like it was thematically on point. Okay, so it looks like we have Claudia set up with a dismember thing. So I think she's supposed to be like missing a limb or something. So let's see how we have this set up. Yeah, she's supposed to be missing her left arm. And maybe that is the problem, but I think that, because maybe that's something like off camera, if you break a character, if like maybe this script is breaking it and making her naked. I'm trying to see how this thing works. That might be this. We might have to remove this because it's really not necessary to have her dismembered. I don't know why this was important. I don't think it was. I think it was just to make sure that her death looked gruesome so that you would really hate the Gunners for it. But that's not... I don't think you need to do much more to make people hate the Gunners. I think that's just kind of a natural instinct because they're portrayed by default as just basically raiders with better armor. Alright, yeah, I can't see any reason why she would be naked. Let me see if in her quest there's something funky going on there. Let's see if she's used by MQ09. No, I'm not gonna make you guys suffer through having to see my Notepad++ again. I was gonna look at the script, but that's not necessary. We can just check on the properties and see what her if her outfit's even mentioned on here. No, so my best guess is it has something to do with that dismemberment, and maybe that's causing the issue. So I'll just try removing that. It won't remove it for existing saves, but maybe next save for people. This will prevent an issue. And let's try Don't Have It Settle too, and let's see if that fixes the bug some people have where she starts out under the world. It's also interesting she's not initially disabled. I thought she was, but maybe she's set up with an enabled parent. Let's check. Yeah, she's got an enabled parent. Okay, cool. So she's disabled by default. Interesting. All right. Well, that was a little fun trip into the creation kit. Oh, we're in the Ron. I was like, why do I hear people drinking coffee? Okay, let's see what else we got here. Words can't describe how stoked I am for Chapter 3. You and me both. We recently... so I'm sure you guys saw the trailer, the teaser trailer, and some of the stuff we did in there was like challenge to get working in game. And then so there's something we can often do for the teaser is we can we can rig up some stuff as a prototype to be like, okay, this is how we want it to roughly work, and we can use it in the trailer. But then we often have to like figure out like, okay, now how is it going to work dynamically in any situation? Because the player has control here, and like we're working on some of the stuff from the trailer right now, where we want we want it to play out that cool for the player too, and getting it to work all dynamically is quite challenging. But it's also really cool to be at that state where we're trying to like live up to your guys' expectations. So we're past a lot of the for the most part outside of the tutorial quests, we're pretty much done with all of the planning parts. Now it's just getting everything functioning. Good lord, I have reverb overstall installed. All the characters sound way better. Oh, interesting. What does the reverb overhaul do? Does it just change like the way the sound works in the interiors or something? Choo-choo, Beth, mod school request. Make a custom unique settler. How far would you want me to take that? Like if that were a Beth school thing? Because like you just want to be able to turn an NPC into one, or are you talking about like the dialogue trees and everything? Because the necessary stuff for mod school to make like to do dialogue and stuff is up there. So what specifically would you like to cover? Are you trying to set up like a like the dialogue trees like we have our character set up, like something like that, or are you just looking for the unlock and like the ability to send them to a settlement? Let me know how much you're thinking. We can discuss that. I think if I do another live mod school, I think it'll be another HQ focused, like go over some of the other stuff in there, just to kind of encourage more folks to dip their toes in that water. Well, let's see, Sandura Wikasitha. That's a name that I don't know. Did I get that right? I felt like one of my. I haven't done a video with Patreon callouts in ages, but every time I do those, somebody's name just gets me, and I butcher it. Thank you and all the SS team for making and maintaining this awesome mod. It has become my favorite mod. Now I can't even think about playing without it. Is there a date for next patch? Next patch is Friday. There's a beta of it right now on the forums if you want to grab it. And that beta is mostly complete. The biggest things that will be added still are probably some minor fixes that some other people have done, like like M Sabala, Pra, CBR Gamer, some of those folks often will submit me little patches, and I'll grab those. I'll probably grab those tomorrow night and put them in. And then we have we'll have updates to the ROTC city plans I was talking about. Those aren't in the beta. Some of them are, but not all of them are in the beta yet. But those will be in there for Friday. And then we're also on Friday, we're going to be launching the City Plan Contest Mega Pack. We have about 165 city plans that are going to come out in one pack. For Xbox players, you guys will get 35 because we don't want to risk breaking your script data limit. And that should be coming out on Friday too, barring any crazy issues. And the total script data for all the plans is actually only 32 megs. So I think most of you, even if you're not using F4OC, should be able to use the whole pack, which will be amazing. And about 70 of those plans are ports from SS1. No Fuss, No Muss went through, who's one of our awesome team members who grinded out and ported. Her goal was to do, like, we got permission from about 80% of the people who are part of the city plan. We could only port for season 3. It was like part of the entry was we're going to include your thing in the pack unless you specifically tell us not to. For seasons 1 and 2, we didn't have such a thing, so we had to get permission for them. And so we reached out, and some of those people have moved on, but as many as we could, we got permission for. And then when we realized how much work it was going to be to port them, we opted to just do the finalists and the winner if they gave us permission. But still, that ended up with about over 70 plans. So there's suddenly going to be, I would say, like, I think on average you'll get about 3 new city plans per settlement on Friday as an option, and I think that's going to be just amazing for when we bring back the pre-build system that was in Conquer. We're bringing that back as part of Chapter 3, and so you'll be able to, like, before, like, when you start your game, you'll have an opportunity to tell SS2 to pre-start a bunch of settlements with city plans already built. So when you pop out of the vault, the world kind of gets semi-randomized. That was like one of my favorite parts of Conqueror. I think a lot of people, that's the case too. And so now we have this giant collection of city plans to use with that system for when it comes out. Okay, and I lost my place again. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Carbach, the Blue Man vendors in WRK do not work. Is that something you can fix? These are something that will take time, so backburner it. Yeah, I mean, they like, I don't know why they wouldn't work, because they're the exact same thing from SS1, so I don't know why they don't work. So yeah, that's like one of those things that definitely backburner, not something I'm going to have time to mess with anytime soon. Did she have her armor and jumpsuit tonight? No, she was stark naked for some reason. Let's see. Nick Carter, the beta will be released on Nexus Friday. No, the live, like the patch, the 2.3.1 will be released on Nexus on Friday. The beta patch is available right now on the forums. Beebsy, I checked the nudity room, but she shows up clothed. I only recently added dead and leveled NPCs to that spawn. Yeah, and she wouldn't normally be part of your test cycle anyway because she's not using a unique outfit. Usually we only need to worry about unique NPCs, but did not consider the fact that I'm betting it's the dismember thing. I think that script is probably causing a problem. And Sir Rick answered the question earlier about why did we do HQ, and it's he says, I think just because it felt like a natural thing to do, shows the player and Jake's progression from hardware store to Giant Plaza. And I like it because it also accomplishes the second goal that I had, which was to make the player feel naturally that they went from waking up out of the vault and getting them to a point where it makes sense for them to lead an empire of ragtag people, and, like, you know, having a big facility to use as your HQ. I think feels like that's a natural extension of that. Yeah, Skyway says if the uniform can't dismember, then it will do that, I believe. Make them naked. That really does make... But my only problem with that that jump, like that's our assumption, is that this has not been the case since launch, right? Like I know when in my first playthrough she wasn't naked. So, and the dismember was not added later. That's been in there since launch. So something else is going on. I don't like it. I don't like this inexplicable nudity. I wonder if it's something. I wonder if it's because of the outfit injection pack. I wonder if our outfit injection ESP is injecting our custom outfits into something. That's a good thought. That maybe there's something in the Vault 88. Let me check that. If there's something in that outfit that like maybe it's possible that that's interfering. I don't think it would be, because then you would get reports of random Vault 81 security people being nude. Let's see here. Vault 81 security. Let's make sure that's what she's using. This is to Claudia. Okay. No, it's not using any leveled lists, so that's not it. No. Good thought, but not correct. I really don't know. I don't know why she's being naked. That's so bizarre. Sampanta, her being naked and what that implies made me hate the Gunners for sure. Yeah, I wish, yeah, I mean, I guess if it has, I always find it like, the naked people in the game would be a little crass, so even though they're wearing underwear, it just gives me vibes of mods that are doing it to be racy, and like that's not our intent, especially something that's, you know, like clearly we're going for heartfelt, right? Like you get Mansfield's reaction, so like I don't want to like ruin that by making it seem skeevy, so it makes me want to fix it. Tom, I've not noticed other NPCs not talking, just the Ron. Guess it could be a mod conflict because I've got a lot of other mods up to mod index 4A. Wow. Make stuff buzzy. Oh, talking about the reverb overhaul and really like it. If you're in a train station, it will sound like you're in a train station echo-wise. I will say one of my favorite spots in this game is in the Conquered Church, because they overdid it with the reverb, and it does sound really, really cool in there. Here's a name I'm gonna butcher. The Gabe. How do you say EUX? How do you say that? Like that's, I don't know how to say that. So we're gonna go with the Gabe. Maybe it's the Gabe UX as in user experience. I don't know. You and team often sound more game devy than game devs. Anyone ever any thoughts on making your own game? Yeah, we've talked about it. Maybe this is the day, Choo Choo. Maybe today's the day we could talk about it. It's early enough. We could dive into that conversation. So. I would say about every other stream, every stream it comes up, every other stream we dive into it, of the idea of us making a game. You know, like we all are passionate about it, and like I studied game dev a lot because that was actually something I was going to try and get into when I was younger, and now I'm just like fascinated by it. So like I am constantly consuming game dev content about stuff about how to make games, whether or not I'm in it, more theory than like actual tactics, because we're not using, you know, like a lot of the, you know, if you watch a lot of content about making games, it's often like in Unity or in Unreal, which we're not doing neither. So I tend to prefer the theory stuff. And like I've always been surrounded by game theory. Like one of the things my dad always did when we were younger is he would make up games to try and make like chores and stuff less bad, and to like encourage, like to turn, it was kind of like Mary Poppins did, like made it so like everything's a game. And so like I've just been surrounded with that my whole life. And then like one of my cousin, who was like my idol growing up, he eventually became a cartoonist, and now he's a game developer. He actually, the last I checked, he was working for the studio who bought Command and Conquer. I don't know who owns that now, but he was working for them. And when we were younger, he's 7 or 8 years older than me, so I always looked up to him. And he would always I had a ton of cousins. I had like 25 cousins, and so like whenever we get together, he'd make up games for us. And so like I've just always been surrounded in my life with people who make games, and I always loved it. And so like I always wanted to make games, and it's something I'm passionate about. But what always comes down in these conversations is like what I'm learning, because I've been making mods since I was a teenager, and as over time, and early on when I would make mods, it was actually it would be more feasible back then to make a game because the games were smaller in scope, and now they're so big. Like to make the kind of game that I want to make, it's like I don't know if that's realistic. forever for a small team to do. And I don't know if I don't, and like, you can't just spin up an indie studio and get 150 employees to make a Fallout, right? Like, that's not a thing. So modding has been like a perfect solution to that, because it's like, hey, I can, play in somebody else's playground where they did a lot of the heavy lifting. Like, you think about what actually goes into a game like Fallout 4, and it's like thousands of art assets and voice files and gameplay systems. Like, you talk about, and so what came up last time we had a serious conversation about this, and where I broke it off because I'm like, this is going to take too long to talk this out, is like, people are like, oh, I really love Sim Settlements, I think it should be its own game. And it's like, well, what elements of it are the most important pieces? Because if you imagine we were going to like start a new game from scratch, right? And we get nothing. We don't get the gunplay. We don't get the camera controls and the quest system that's baked into the creation engine, or workshop mode. Like, all of those things we would have to code out ourselves. One of the people I really want, and I really need to get back on the podcast style end of where I bring on a guest periodically, because that make at least some interesting discussions. And one of the people I want to bring on is Nick Pierce, and he's the guy who did Forgotten City. I think that's the name of it. God, I always forget it. I loved it so much. It was such a great game. It's the game that used to be Forgotten City. It was a Skyrim mod, and I think he would speak well to this, of like what a system shock it was to go from modder to making your own game, and how many things he had to create from scratch. So it's like, okay, well, so then what we have to do is, if we were to make our own game, we have to distill what are the key elements that make Sim Settlements what it is, and what can we get and what can we lose, because we need to lose some amount of stuff to do it as an indie team. Because I have very little interest. A lot of people will come on and say like, I can't believe Bethesda hasn't hired you or something. It's like, I don't really want to work in that atmosphere of being part of a 400-person team. Like, that does not particularly interest me. I already have work in the corporate world, and it's not very fulfilling, because you're kind of a cog in the machine and you do a very small part of things, and that's not, it's. I don't know if it's delusions of grandeur. I just want like to feel like I had a major impact on something. I don't know what it is, but that world does not interest me. It's too slow paced, first of all, but also, again, going back to feel like a cog in the machine, of where I'm just like a small piece of the puzzle. And then then to get the feeling of satisfaction, I think the people who I see who get good satisfaction in those roles are people who are either in leadership positions or who are they're more for the social aspect than the actual, because then they can feel the pride as a team. But I'm kind of a lone wolf type of person. I love working with a team, don't get me wrong, and I would not do it any other way. But I spend the vast majority of my time when I'm creating stuff doing it by myself, and I gotta feel like I'm doing something meaningful. So going back, so all that is to say, I don't see ever doing this outside of any realm that's not as a small group. And so what can we realistically accomplish? And that is where, let's see how many messages I've missed now that I opened up Pandora's box there. Let me scroll back and see where I got derailed there. Don't mind me, just YouTube chat is so garbage. Let's see here. Yagi, I feel bad for the fact that King Gath is one of the only people I've ever met that pronounced my handle right the first try. You're one of the few. It's funny, usually with the kind of, you're mentioning it because I mentioned the Patreon thing and I butchered two people's names there. I often do like multiple takes on the Patreon shout outs to try and get them right. Like I'll try a few and be like, oh, and then like just like talking them out with myself. It's like rubber duck development. Like I kind of figure it out over time. Like, oh yeah, that's probably French or whatever, and figure it out. But I still butcher some. So Rec Edslee says, wait this Friday. That's the patch, not the 3.0 patch, not the chapter 3. Just like my normal, like we do a patch for the mod every 2 to 4 weeks. So just bug fixes. Oscar N1 and 7. I've already asked this, but with all the news and rumors flying around at the moment, what's your best guess for Starfield's release date? My current guess is June, because they said they're doing that solo show for it now. So that tells me that's going to come out probably before E3, which is when they could have also waited to do a full reveal if it was going to come out in the winter. So now I'm thinking June. Choo-choo, ideally, player completes a quest, then a new NPC shows up, and they can be recruited as a settler. I understand voices. Oh, this is, okay, so earlier Choo-choo had said, can you do a Beth Mod school on creating a settler? And I asked for more specifics of what he'd like to know. So, ideally, player completes a quest, then a new NPC shows up, they can be recruited as a settler. I understand voices, also for HQ stuff, too, since I want to learn how missions work in that. Gotcha. So basically a basic quest where an NPC shows up and they can be a settler. Yeah, that'd be pretty straightforward to do, especially if we involve Workshop Framework, because we have like a one-shot function to do that. And actually, the base game does too, but ours gives a little bit more freedom to it in Workshop Framework. I think the most challenging part actually of making a settler isn't necessarily getting an NPC there. It's fleshing out all their dialogue to make them support like doctors and custom shop types. I don't know if Shiloh's still in chat, but I've been training Shiloh how to do settler dialogue, and he will attest that it's very overwhelming, especially the doctor stuff. So like walking through that might be useful to show off how to do all that stuff, because it's fortunately especially if you use SS, if you parent yours to SS2, you can literally copy and paste all the conditions and some chunks of our quests, but that could be useful. It'd be nice to have that in tutorial form, because I've trained a lot of different people on this, and I keep having to redo it from scratch because I don't have tutorials on this. So that might be a good Bethesda mod school. Sai Evil, will getting an external hard drive for Xbox One fix the freezes? I don't think so. I think what version of Xbox are you on, by the way? Because that probably change the discussion a little bit. If you're still on if you're not on one of the new Xboxes, or not on I hate the naming scheme of the Xboxes, but not the new X, but the X before that. I don't know what they were called, but if you know, like basically there's the current Xbox gen, and then the previous Xbox gen that Fallout 4 come out for. The initial release of that, and the second, there were like 3 versions of it that came out over its lifetime, and the first 2 versions struggle pretty hard with sim settlements, and then the third version should work pretty good. So I don't know what one you're on. Nick Carter, did you like C-Lab 2021? Oh yeah, it's one of my favorite pieces of comedy ever created. I have a great C-Lab story. So my friends and I used to watch it all the time, and we would quote it at parties and stuff all the time. And finally, we got a group of like secondary friends who didn't watch it with us, and they were just like, "What is this? Like, you guys quote it all the time. We got to see this." So we had like a Adult Swim viewing party, and there's one episode of C-Lab 2021 where it's like, it's real. It's just like an actual, like just straight faced, and then at the end of the episode, the thing blows up. So like so you watch through the whole thing waiting for them to do their wackiness, and the only joke is the place blows up at the end. And so then everyone just looked at us like, this is what you guys like? That was terrible. Why did you just waste our time? And I feel like the guys who made it, they planned it that way because they knew that would happen to somebody, and that's funny for them. Like it was like an Andy Kaufman moment. Too Large Pepperoni, thank you for the donation. Thanks for another fun stream. Sending love to everyone on the SS2 team. Appreciate that. Let's see here. YouTube chat, messing with me. Oh, here we go. Surik. The HQ was a case of one ID setting off like 100 more better ones. Yeah, I wish, and I hope that we eventually get HQ to where it belongs in quality level. We're getting closer. I think a 3.0 patch combined with the stuff coming in Chapter 3, I think we'll get it there. Skywise, I jumped back in time to watch you looting, and she didn't spawn with any clothing in her inventory, just her log to loot. Interesting. Yogi, not sure if it's a question for King Gath or Surik or someone else, but was it really necessary for Teresa's jeans to look like they were painted on? Yeah, that was from that's from what is the what's it called? It's based on, it's called Evil Detective is the outfit. I'm trying to think of the mod author. Starts with a G. G-R... I can't think of it, but they gave us permission to use that outfit. We just wanted something interesting looking to make sure, like all of our core characters, we wanted them to have a unique outfit so they stood out. And so in some cases we mashed up, and then in hers we just like got the opportunity to use it. And I think it's based off of Evil Within. I think it's because there's a male version and a female version, and I think the male version looks closer to the protagonist from Evil Within, and then that was their take on the female version. Greslin, that's the mod author. And then it's like once we give a character their look, like you kind of are stuck with it, right? You can't change it too much because that's what people associate with it. Like when we changed Lily's outfit last patch to get closer to the original concept, like a lot of people are like, I don't like it. I don't like the changed outfit. I like the way she looked before. And so like, okay, we'll roll that back. Which I agree with the critique in that it doesn't look Wastelandy enough, the current outfit she's got. So that'll get rolled back at some point. And so it's like we can't, like once we roll out a character with an outfit, we're kind of like that becomes part of them, because that's just how Bethesda RPGs are, right? You don't see people changing clothes all the time. We do it a few times in our story, but usually for the sake of like, okay, this person's going to wear different gear during a combat scenario, and then they're going to go back to their standard outfit that you know them by. And I think part of that, I don't know if that's because like you want to be able to identify them from a distance, or if it's kind of like the, it's kind of like the superhero thing. Like, you get the costume as part of the character. Skywise, the gunners imply when you're liberating Concord, they forced the woman to have. Yeah, there is one implication of that there, and that's one of those moments where that was to make sure you hate that character. We wanted to encourage you to let Jake kind of go ham and like get his Rambo moment revenge on the gunners right there. That was what that was. It was an opportunity for that. Obviously you don't have to take it depending on what you tell Jake. Like you can do different things, but that was so you wouldn't feel remorse for allowing Jake to just unleash hell on some gunners. Could Choo-Choo tell me about Sims elements of the game? No, you guys have to tell me about it. What do you guys think? What are the core elements? And maybe you guys already have. I'm way behind on chat. What do you guys think are the core elements of Sim settlements? What are the pieces of the puzzle that you can't live without? Because you got to think about every element of Fallout 4 is kind of part of Sim settlements. Like the fact that we have like the quest system, and like that we're built on top of a big giant sprawling story. And like if you just take away anything that we didn't make ourselves, the whole world space, all the locations you can explore, because most of our quests happen in vanilla locations. We didn't custom make like we have maybe a dozen custom locations, and everything else is built in stuff that was built for us by Bethesda. RSI second year team building a game. I mean, I appreciate the encouragement and the thought that we can pull it off. I just it's a lot of work, so we have to know what it is that what we'd be building toward. There's no reason why you can't release your game in chapters like you do some settlements. Death to the Beacon quest. What do you mean? What is the Beacon quest? Which one is that? Is that the quest at the end of chapter 1 where you have to go put the beacons in the locations? Because that one was designed for a very specific reason to be like that, because we needed to make sure that the kidnapping was a surprise. So it was like getting the player set up for a pattern. Like it was like we know that you do it once, then you do it twice, then you're going to assume, okay, I'm going to have to do it 3 times. That's a pretty standard gameplay loop, and then we catch you off guard with the kidnapping. It's one of those things that like now. Oh, that kind of beacon. I just saw Yogi's. A new hand touches the beacon. I saw a meme going around about how people hate the Merida's beacon, and I don't understand why. I always loved that quest, but I don't play Skyrim often enough to make it irritate me. The same thing for, I don't find Preston really that irritating because I don't play the vanilla part of Fallout 4 often enough to make it irritating. Choo-Choo One proposal: a channel on the Discord. What makes Sim settlements Sim settlements? Yeah, I mean that could be an ongoing discussion. That'd be a great one for Patreon. Let's see, we're going with the Gabe UX. That's how I've decided your name has to be pronounced for the sake, until you can find a way to type up pronunciation for me to say otherwise. Completely understand regarding game dev. Me and a couple others did small mods for a couple games, then we tried doing a RimWorld, ran out of money, and project died in 2 years. 1 out of 2. Modding is absolutely paradise in comparison. Yeah, definitely seems that way. So yeah, it's terrifying, the idea of losing all of the stuff we got, and especially with when we build on a game like Bethesda's, like they're doing what I would love to do. So I love the fact that they're, even though I've said, I'm on the record saying many times, they need to get out of this, they need to switch to Unreal or something. I kind of love the fact that they've kept this old engine going, because what they're doing is they're basically like, they're building on something for decades and they're getting to reap the advantages of it. So like the, you know, their dialogue system has just evolved from what it was in Morrowind, and like their weapon system. And so like every new game then gets the advantages of the previous game. So for example, with Starfield, they have this great core gunplay loop from Fallout that they get to use now, and they don't have to go back to the beginning and recode all that. And like that really appeals to me. You know, somebody said earlier, you could release a game in chapters. I do love the idea of like committing to like, we're going to build a game, like doing the Dwarf Fortress. Like I am so envious of those guys of like, we're going to build a game and it's just going to be our career forever. Like we're just going to build one game for 20 years. That, I love that idea so much. I'm sure some people on the team are like, good God, no, Gath. That actually really would be exciting to me, especially if it was like you got to hold on to the technology and keep reusing it and keep expanding it. That would really appeal to me greatly. Even though I've also been on the record saying like, you know, I could use a break from Fallout. I think it was, you know, our own IP, and we're building it up from the ground up and building up an engine and tools, that we could get around that. Like it would make sure that whatever the IP was had enough variety in, you know, it was more open to the types of things you could have in it. So it was, you know, maybe it would be some sort of game story where you could go to different worlds. So that way if we're like, okay, we're getting tired of the apocalypse, let's go to a fantasy world for a while and take your character into some portal and you end up there. And maybe not that exactly, but you know, something where it would be more open-ended about the type of genres and scenery you could do to keep it always fresh. But man, I love the idea of having something to build on forever. And that's probably why I haven't left Sim Settlements, why I've pushed on it so hard for so long and keep cramming in more features, is because that's kind of that. It's kind of like we're building up this base of code and obviously community and all these tools and stuff, and it's really, really fun. Like the amount of people who have put out content for Sim Settlements and Sim Settlements 2 is freaking nuts. I don't know that there are many other mods for any game, with the exception of maybe Gary's mod, that have this much community created content. And definitely in the Bethesda scene, I think we're probably number one. Star Killer Kate, I will say, based on how I've observed the SS2 mod team compared to other mods, good management is one of your strengths. Thank you. That is actually, I always consider that one of my weaknesses. I always feel like I'm a terrible manager because I have so much time to code, or I spend so much time coding. I did a game jam with a few people on the team, and I think it became a running joke for them because they were all sitting in chat talking and working stuff out about the game jam, and I just kept disappearing for like 4 or 5 hours at a time because I had to go code, and I just felt like the worst manager ever. Like, I don't feel like a great manager, so I don't know that you're in the position to say that. We'll see if and there's other people in chat, and they're probably not going to tell me the truth, so we'll never know. I guess the fact that some folks have stuck around with me for this many years means I must not be terrible at it. Caden Ballard, hey, sorry I'm late, but I was wondering if we were going to get documentation for making HQ from scratch to a new location. Thanks, love the work you do. You will eventually, yeah, absolutely. I actually already have that documentation written, but it's really rough. And the way I like to do documentation is very thorough. If you go look at the wiki for SS2, you'll see that like I'm pretty ridiculous with it, like to a fault of like I don't skip any step. Like it's often I'll say things like right click on this thing, and then or like, you know, scroll down halfway through the page and find this. Like I like to be really meticulous because I don't want there to be any assumed knowledge, because that is a huge pet peeve of mine when somebody releases. In fact, I just had to deal with that today at work. I was reading some API documentation for something, and they assumed a bunch of steps that I would know, and I had no idea how to do them. And then it took me hours to go learn how to do this thing before I could continue with their tutorial. And I don't ever want that in my tutorials. I want to be like, here, I'm going to walk you through how to do it, explain why you're doing all this stuff, and then hopefully you gain some extra knowledge along the way. And so it'll be a while before I have the full make your own HQ stuff done. If you are seriously considering taking it on, if you DM me on the Sim Settlements forums, I can send you a link to my rough documentation, and you could try and work from that. Choo-choo-one, I yield to your knowledge then. I know how to add voices, but not everything about it. A complete guide would be great if possible. Yeah, I mean, it could be a definitely, like, I mean, I mentioned last week when we did live Bethesda Mod Schools, the reason I did the live one is because I don't have time to polish up and build these videos out. Like a decent mod school video, like one that's more than 20 minutes long, which is what that would be, will take me like 6 or 7 hours put together, and I just don't have that kind of time ever. So the live streams are something, you know, it's 9 p.m. till midnight or 1. I've got that time blocked off, so whatever I can pull off in that time, great. Doesn't require me to go back and edit or do retakes. So maybe that could be something we do there. I know it's a little harder to digest for folks, but you know, like anybody who's hoping to make HQ rooms, I'm sure if they see that the only video option is that 3-hour video, they'll be like, oh, hell no. So, you know, not a great long-term plan for Bethesda Mod School, but it can be a Band-Aid solution for those of you guys who are gonna stick around and watch me yammer on anyway. Scrolling down here, Sato404 or Saito, have you tried the Papyrus plugin for Notepad++ for the syntax highlighting? I have not. I hate syntax highlighting, to be honest with you. That's why I don't use an IDE. I don't like syntax highlighting, and I don't like code suggestions. So I like hate IDEs. That's why I use Notepad++. What I do love is ChatGPT for coding. That is like my coding buddy now. Doesn't work for Papyrus, but for my day job, it works great. Like I love being able to just ask English questions and having it spit out usable code with explanations. It's so incredible. Because I do look stuff up all the time when I'm coding. Like even with like Papyrus, I'll go look up functions. The only thing that has made me sometimes want an IDE is when I'm trying to remember my own code, where it could be helpful to have the autocomplete. But 9 times out of 10, it just irritates me, so I don't want it. Saivo, the first Xbox one is what I have. Ah, okay. Yeah, I have the 2nd gen Xbox. I think it was like the Xbox One S. And I have successfully played through all of Chapter 1 and parts of Chapter 2 on it. I have not played through HQ. I started a save a couple of months ago on there with the intention of getting it up there, and I did use the cheat command to make sure that worked on Xbox, and that's as far as I've taken it. So I don't know necessarily that the original Xbox is capable of handling Chapter 2. I couldn't tell you. It sounds like for you that's just a straight no. Chuchu wanted to know how to set up all the dialogue conditions and all. I mean, yeah, I think that could be doable in a Bethesda Mod School live of going over a settler quest, because we have a template for it. Like we not only have a template, I'm happy to give this out too. I've given it out before. We have a template for writers to where it can be like, here's what we do for our characters of like, you know, we need like X combat lines for this state, this state, this state. We need lines for them to say, you know, when the player declines bartering. We need lines for them to offer bartering. Like we have this big template for making complete characters. And then in addition to that, we have a couple of characters that are fleshed out enough with all the different dialogue options that you could like clone their parts of their dialogue quest to rapid pace set up your own. So we could go over all that for sure. Nick Carter, I'm Stormy. I'm Bizarro Stormy. I'm Stormy. I'm Bizarro Stormy. The Bizarro episode almost lost me, but there's some winners in there. Let's see. You're picking my next life in SS2. Pick A, B, or C. B. We'll go in the middle. Gringen Urchin, is that the mod author for the one I was thinking of? Let me check that real quick. I remember it was called Evil Detective, Fallout 4. Yep, Gringen Urchin, you are correct. I don't know who it was I said. I don't know what name I said before, but it wasn't that. The one name I said was much shorter. Must have been somebody else, some other mod author I remembered from something else. Oh god, chat just jumped again on me. I lost my spot. Here we go. Computers say no. To be honest, I agree with you that it's better as a mod that make Bethesda games so awesome. They give you a framework, a whole sandbox to play with. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel right now. But Yeah, I mean, it would be. I do envy their state right now of having years of development into a project and owning it. Like, you know, Bethesda's modding rules are good enough right now where we actually do own the IP of Sim Settlements, and like we own our characters and stuff, but we've tangled their story so much into the vanilla that we really couldn't extricate them. So we don't. So in a sense, we haven't, like, that's why whenever this conversation comes up of like, what are the elements of Sim Settlements that make Sim Settlements special? Because it's like, that's what that's what you could build on. Because I think what really makes it special is just that you get to play Fallout 4 still, but then you also get some elements from other genres and a pretty good story. I think the team has put together, and it blends in nicely with the Fallout 4 experience. I think that's what you guys actually like about Sim Settlements. I don't know that we have any particularly great unique ideas in here that would make it stand out on its own as a thing. That's my theory, is that it only works because what we're doing is we're adding additional life to the sandbox RPG. That's where I think our strength is. So can't have that without the sandbox RPG. That's my theory. I don't know. Oscar on 1 and 7. Starfield in June is reassuring. Should be able to finish my quest mod by then. Just hope the FO4 next gen update and Fallout TV show keep people interested in playing Fallout 4 after Starfield. I mean, I think Fallout 4 will have a life beyond Starfield. Absolutely. I think it's the same way people keep going back to Fallout 3 New Vegas still today. Like, I don't think Fallout 4 is going to die. I think it's going to be, there's going to be a year and a half to 2 years where way less people play Fallout 4. And then after that, it'll never get back. Like, this is like, its high point is already past, but you still get, if you look at like daily active users on Steam, there's still a good amount of people playing it all the time. And if I like look at the number of people who download the patches and everything, it's pretty significant. And I think like that will decline, but there'll be people playing forever. But yeah, your quest mod looks really awesome. I can't wait till you get it out. Skywise, I'm normally a sniper, so I usually eliminate the gunners before they know I'm there. I assume you're talking about the Claudia little scenario there. Yeah, I figured that's probably the case for a lot of people. But I appreciate that Sir Rick wrote them a little conversation, so folks who are stealthing around get an opportunity for some more lore. Star Killer K, part of what I love about FO4 settlement building and SS2 in particular is being able to build towns on a more granular level than just you need XYZ houses, people you meet, etc. Yeah, I mean, one of the starting, I think one of the reasons, maybe I'm wrong on this. This is because a lot of this is just a theory from me. I don't, I try and get feedback and stuff, but well, I always have to take feedback with a grain of salt because it'll be, I'll tend to I tend to react greater to more exaggerated feedback. So it'll be like people who tell me I'm doing a really great job or people who I'm doing a really poor job are the ones that resonate the most. I think that's how most people operate. And so I'm always trying to be careful about how much I let feedback impact the things I do, because I don't want to lose the magic. So anyway, why I'm prefacing this by saying that is because I think one of the things people loved about SS1 was actually the dynamic needs, because it made it not only did you have the plot, your plots were upgrading, and so that you would periodically come back and things would look different, but it was also that you always had something to do because the needs weren't static. So it wasn't just like, okay, I plop down one bed for each person, one food, one water, I'm done. You'd come back and it'd be like, oh, they want more defense, or oh, they want more food, and so you always had something new to be doing. So it kept it dynamic feeling, and I think that is one of the little bits about SS2 that's special. But that's not special to SS2. That's special to, or that's just a part of management sims and games like Civ style, 4X's and stuff. That's just part of their thing. Star Killer Kate. So meeting characters to move into your town is a big part of the fun for me. Yeah, I've always loved that idea. There's a game. What is the game? It was a Dragon Quest game. I think it was Dragon Quest. There was a. Let me try and find it. There was a game that had a similar feature to it. It was you build. What is it? Was it Dragon Quest Builder or something like that? And basically, all the time, as you're building and stuff, characters would show up and give you more, and then want you to build more things for them. And I always thought that, and that's not where the idea came from, but that was I've seen it done in other games, is what I'm getting at. But that idea of building up a place, attracting more people who then maybe give you incentive to build even more and different things, then you meet more characters and attract. Like, I love that gameplay loop. I think that to me is like one of the big things they missed in Fallout 4 is they didn't do that enough. You know, I think there's like a half dozen characters outside of your companions that you can recruit, and I think that could have been something they leaned into, of being like, that's a reward in itself of getting it's an interesting reward. You know, you can only get so many weapons and armor for your character before you start replacing things, right? So it's like, you know, if everybody gives me a gun, well, I can only use one gun at a time, so that reward only goes so far. But I think like giving you new characters to interact with is an infinite pool. You can reward that forever, and it always feels cool. Skyways, when you have to go to every radio tower in the Wealth, those beacon tower things. Oh, talking about you don't like the beacon. Well, that's an optional quest. You don't have to do that one. It's not part of the story. Although I know for some people, if a quest hits their log, it's not optional. So I guess in that case. Well, then you can always learn the console commands and force shut it down. Too large pepperoni. Customizability of SS2 is a big plus for me. I've done many plays and still haven't unlocked all plots or characters. So many features I've been missing. Doing stuff the same way all the time. Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons that I like keep pushing for more depth. And like the goal is always like I always like, there was a speaking of game development theory, there was always there's a thing that Blizzard used to always say, which was like easy to learn, difficult to master was always the goal of their games. And that has always been my goal as well, of like getting it to a point where it's like, all right, you can play this mod surface level and it just adds like a nice easy to use feature where you get to have your settlements build faster. But then there's a ton of, if you dive in, then there will be like a bottomless well of things to find. Like that has kind of been the goal of why we keep doing stuff with sim settlements, especially like adding in not just the main quest and not just the, you know, the overarching new features of each expansion, but also we like add a lot of side content in, and you know, we perpetually have people working on little sub projects for within the mod, is just like adding more secrets to explore, more depth to it. Just makes it just adds more and more to the replayability. And it's very hard to unlock all of that in one playthrough, and I like that about it. Like, we could change it and make it easier, but I think it's more fun that every time. It's the same reason like we keep, you know, to this day, every time I do these Let's Plays, not every episode, but almost every episode I run into something vanilla I'd never seen before. And I love that about Bethesda games, so we're trying to add more to that. Sir Rick, yes, better than me at managing, so I'm going to say he's good. Arissa, thoughts on what kind of game you could create? It could be FPS RPG like Fallout. Should have a strong story. You guys have good writers. Obviously need to have settlements. Yeah, well, that's a tall order, right? An FPS RPG is a lot. You know, even when you look at a game that tried to like get close to Fallout, Outer Worlds, and you look at the scope of that and how underwhelming that is compared to Fallout. Like, the size of their world was smaller, and like, I know a lot of people loved that game, but it is not anywhere close to something like Fallout. And that was with a professional, like, I think like they're a pretty small company. Actually, let's look that up. How many people worked on Outer World? But I would guess they had like 50 people probably. And that's all they could do, and they're experienced. Like, that's what they do for a living. Yeah, it says 75 developers worked on that. And like, to me, that's too big. I don't want to work with a team that big. Like, I mean, I would work on with like if you counted voice actors and you know, out and like any like contractors to do certain things, but you know, core team, I don't want to work in that's too big for me. So like that means like realistically we couldn't even create anything as big as Outer Worlds, and that to me was not a great game. I didn't love that game. Probably because I was going in expecting it to be Fallout New Vegas 2, and it clearly wasn't, and so I was disappointed. So like, you know, a company full of 75 devs who do this for a living, that's all they could create. Like, I'm skeptical of what we could create of out of you know, a team of 20 amateurs. Like, I don't know that we could do anything good. That's my concern. You know, like, I'm confident we could make something fun. because like we know that at least, but you know, is it going to scratch the same itch? Is it going to be as high a quality in some elements? You know, like I'm confident we could do good. I'm confident we could have something fun with a good story, and it would have great voice acting. Those are the three things I could be confident on. But you know, we don't have like a gigantic art team to make a bunch of assets. We don't have a bunch of coders. There's just like I do the vast majority of the coding, and then a couple other people like show me what I'm doing wrong, or like on occasion we have somebody write up a whole system and then we put that in, like Baron did for HQ. But like there would be so much more coding to do in our own game, because we would need to do we wouldn't need to do an engine, because we would definitely do Unreal or Unity. But there's still, even if you have an engine that handles the graphics pipeline, but you still have to build your like gameplay engine on top of that. So yeah, just I lack a lot of confidence in the making our own game, because we've got ourselves used to playing in Bethesda Sandbox. Like that's kind of it would be very hard for us to set goals that were less than that, and then it's like, you know, if they can't do it, if Obsidian can't do it, how are we gonna do it? I don't know. I think that's one of those things where the naive optimism of youth that I lack now would have been valuable, because I probably would have tried. If I was 25 and was running Simpson, I think 100% I would have tried to do a Kickstarter, raise money, and just go into it. Now I've got too much life experience for my own good. Beebs Keller, oh my god, King Gath is humble, but he's a rockstar manager. Well, thank you for saying that. Beebs is on the team. Beebs handles all of our outfits now, basically like kind of creating them and fixing them. Originally, Beebs was doing what did you come on originally? I think you came on as a voice actor, right? Or did you come on, and then you got into outfit designing, and then you kind of became outfit technical person. Yeah, and now like we don't really have anybody else working on outfits, so occasionally you're making stuff too now. But I think that's what you were doing early on. Let's see here. Skyway's ears perk. Ooh, I want to see the template. Oh, the template for our dialogue, I assume you're talking about. I could bring that up. Let's see if I have it handy. Let's see. Yeah, let me check my Google Drive, see if I've got a template, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. Because I've been messing with it a lot lately, because somebody asked me for a copy of it recently, and so I started cleaning it up. Give me a second here. Here we go. Okay, so this is our dialogue template. This is what we give our writers, and this has grown over the years. It started out much smaller than this, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So we have it set up in a few different tabs here. So the first tab is what we need for every NPC, no matter how small they are. We don't necessarily need this many lines, so like we encourage more, but on occasion it might be a real small character. We'll drop it down to just like 2 or 3 of these, but these randomized, because having the randomized lines makes the character feel more believable. And because like if you go activate an NPC twice and you hear the exact same line, instantly immersion killer. So we just need enough variation so that it's unlikely the player hears the same line twice in a small period of time. So we really just need a few hellos when the player activates, and a few commentary lines for when the player is just near them. And then we need the combat stuff. We need them to not be silent during combat. And we need them to like react if the player shoots them, react to dead bodies. And like this is our baseline. Every NPC gets this. Then if they're possible being a settler, we add another big chunk. So we can give them alternate lines for after they're recruited. This is we often don't use this. There's a few characters, like I think the Powells are some, where we give them both, but most characters tend to just have, I think it's like characters that are part of a pretty reasonable sized quest and then become sellers tend to have 2 chunks. But a lot of these templates are up to the individual authors. So like we've worked with a lot of different writers over time. And it tends to be that like they fill out as much of this as they feel comfortable. Generic positive response, we use these for a lot of different things. These are like, you give them a command, like you tell them to walk somewhere, or sometimes we use them for barter or asking them to trade. So like if you say, hey, I want to see what gear you have, we have them say whatever their generic positive response line is. And then like we've got all these related to settlement attacks, shortages, the Radiant Quest handling, the store barter system, and then we have custom ones. These ones in yellow are like, these are 100% optional. We have it set up so that NPCs can have specific greetings for the different shop types. The bark system we added in a patch for SS2. There's a handful of our NPCs that will do the thing in Diamond City where they're, like Mo is yelling about swatters. We have a bark system for our characters to do that. And so like a lot of this is optional. It's like, how deep do you want to go on your character? And then we've got the clinic section. We try and get this for all the characters, otherwise they just don't work for clinics. And that requires quite a few lines. The doctor is like one of the most complicated things for settlers. Then we have the SS2 stuff, like the chapter. This should SS2 mechanics, but really it should be called, I guess, Chapter 2 mechanics. There's all these different things that are about. Some of this is for Chapter 3, some of it's for Chapter 2. Then we've got this giant template of HQ lines, and you guys have probably not heard any of these because so far almost none of these are conditioned correctly. I recently just set up all the conditions, and I've been working with somebody to train them on getting all of these lines enabled, because we have these for a handful of characters and we'd like them to have it, and they're just like responding to, like, if you assign them to a job that doesn't make any sense. Like if you got a 10 strength guy and you assign him to work at science, then he should complain, like stuff like that. So like we went deep on the lines, but if you're talking about generic settlers, you really just need the core lines and these settler lines, and you only need about maybe 10% of what's on this template. So like we went deep because we wanted to encourage writers to like go all in and make really deep characters that you guys would fall in love with. But like Chuchu, you were asking about making a settler yourself. You don't have to commit to this much. This is if you wanted to go all in on it. But that is what our template looks like, and it's kind of like has some general things of like, here's the when it gets used, or these are kind of explanations of when it gets used. This explains it to writers who aren't super familiar with what we mean by our prompts and context, like give them a little bit more direction, and then some examples of the lines. So this is what our template looks like, and they would basically just fill out this giant sheet here. We'd send this off to the voice actors to get recorded, and then we plug it into the CK. Sendoru, is it safe to send HQ settlers back to a settlement? It should be. I know there was a bug report at one point that didn't work, but then we tested it live in my last playthrough. We took Catherine Drake, sent her to HQ, and then sent her back to settlement, and it worked. Chuchu, I think the biggest thing that makes Exodus special is the community involvement, things like plots and HQ rooms. Yeah, I think, if we ever make something, I don't know, there's no way we can't support modding. Like we came up as mod. I think that's something, but that also adds extra development time. I think that's actually, I noticed that a lot with people who came from a modding background tend to put mod support in their new games, and I think it's one of those things that has the potential to be a huge boon for them, but it also adds extra development time, because when you make things modular so they can be injected into it, it takes a lot longer to develop them. Like that's part of what's taken so long with Chapter 3 is I reinvented Conqueror from the bottom up with the idea that it needs to be way more modular because the faction pack thing didn't work out well for Conqueror, and I wanted to make sure to break that curse. Computers say, no, SS2 feels like an official DLC. It fits so perfectly into the game that I often don't know if stuff is vanilla or added by SS2. That's our goal. It says 1 out of 2, but I don't see your second message. Oh, there it is. That's what I love about it. It makes stuff better that was lacking in the middle of the game and adds to it. I don't want to miss anything about it. The full experience is what makes it so special for me. Yeah, I mean, that's my assumption that's why you guys like it, is it's that we're just adding a lot more to the base game, a lot more depth, a lot more things to keep you feeling like your favorite Bethesda RPG is still fresh and new. Because I think we all kind of want to get sucked into these games and live it as a bit of a second life where you can get a nice escape and not think about problems of real life, and just have something that sucks you in, feels immersive, and lets you role play or just get your kill on, whatever you're feeling. And so I think like what we bring to the table is letting you do that for even longer. Rissa, if you released it in chapters but kept it open world, we would feel like we discovered a new bit of the world. Yeah, but that like open world games, that's a tall order. What I am hopeful for, so like I don't want to be all negative on this because I'm not rejecting the idea. I want to make my own game. Like that would be amazing. Is that the AI stuff that's happening everywhere, and I talk about it a lot, and is scary to a lot of people. One of the powers it could bring is it could temporarily, until the big corporations figure out how to cut us out. You know, it's a lot like any other big tech innovation. Is it tends to be it levels the playing field for a little while. So, you know, the internet did that. Now the internet's kind of like firmly under the control of a handful of companies. But at first, it was like you had all of these companies rising up out of, you know, like most of the most powerful companies that exist today didn't really exist before the internet, and like that let them exist. And so like I think AI has the potential to do a similar kind of thing. But I don't think it'll be one industry like tech. I think AI could potentially allow a lot of small groups to create stuff that could compete with bigger groups, because if they just embrace it. So like one of the things that you know, we talk about AI on our team all the time because it has the potential to like give us superpowers of like some of us can just create way more content if we let AI take us to the exponential level. But it's also scary because then it's like, oh man, if we don't need anybody else to do this stuff, it's like, what does that mean for the job? You know, it's like as we embrace it and like try and use it for our to like make our project cooler, it's like you can't help but think about like, oh my god, how many people's lives are going to get destroyed from this? And then it makes you feel bad for using it. We had a conversation today about it where it was like this kind of thing, like, man, it feels like we're watching the end of the world and participating in it as we tinker with AI stuff. But that has the, man, I went dark. I was like, let's try and keep it positive. What I was getting at is that like AI has the potential to make it possible that maybe we can do, you know, our own open world game, because that doesn't require, you know, like one person can do some pretty wild stuff with the help of AI. But I think there's going to be a big AI backlash. I think AI, I think in the next year or two, you're going to see a backlash like there was on, what are the things, what are the crypto, not the, I'm trying to think with NFTs. Like NFTs were like, came up out of nowhere, a lot of people were excited about them, and then just like everyone in the world just is like, nah, these things are garbage. Get this stuff out of here. I think AI is going to end up triggering a similar response for different reasons. So it's a tough one to get in, but it does excite me at the idea of like, oh man, we could keep that small team vibe and still make stuff as big as these big companies. Like that is exciting. So I'm actually like pro AI from my personal creator perspective, and anti AI from a philosophical, like this is gonna F up society real bad perspective. But yeah, so I guess a mixed bag there of positive and negativity. I really do want to make my own game. Don't get me wrong. Like that sounds really fun. I'm just kind of a realist about it. Skywise, you might check out how Warlords of Draenor and WoW was set up. It might spawn some good ideas. So Warlords of Draenor is one of the, that broke me of WoW because I hated Warlords of Draenor. I hated their outpost system because it was basically a mobile game, and like Warlords of Draenor. If I go back like thinking about that outpost system, I like if it was, you know, I think what the worst part of that one and the fending was that like they were those daily lockout timers. That was just utter trash. Like get that out of my game. But yeah, I know that like what we like HQ is actually very similar to that type of gameplay from the perspective of you're not building things, you're selecting what goes in spaces. Like HQ, you know, somebody joked that HQ is like I can't think of the name. What's the Skyrim DLC that let you build a home? Why can't I think of it? Hearthfire. It's like Hearthfire on crack is what HQ kind of is, because it's the same kind of idea of you're not building by hand, you're just selecting things and putting them in there. And I used to love those types of elements of games. Like one of my the there were a lot of RPGs used to have stuff like that, and I loved it. Like because it's like I don't want to have to like hand build everything. But I like some player choice. And so Warlords kind of had that going on, but they had that stupid mobile aspect to it. Maybe you're talking about a different element of Warlords Draenor, because I do remember some of the raids in Warlords were pretty cool, if I'm remembering it correctly. The whole my WoW time is fragmented and like tainted because I got so addicted to it at certain points. But I remember having a mixed bag of experiences, but I do remember quitting during Warlords for some reason. And I think part of it was that I wanted the outpost system to be better. Skyways, you made my completionist gamer heart skip a beat. Oh, and I was talking about how hard it is to get all of our content locked in a single playthrough. I don't know how far back I am in time. It'd be nice if they put well, I guess they don't anticipate people streaming to like acknowledge every single message. It'd be nice if there were timestamps on these so I know how far back I fell. Tom, another thing I've noticed is when I have a jetpack equipped, player jetpack mod, PA jetpack not tested, the character tries to move to the lowest point in the settlement. It could be a conflict. Yeah, that doesn't sound good. That sounds very broken. Choo-choo 1, start small, maybe do episodes, updates for some settlements in the game. I mean, it could be... yeah, it's interesting about how to approach that. Like, you know, like in my ideal world, it would be like we convince Bethesda to just pay a salary to everybody on my team to just make some settlements forever, and we'll just keep making this. That would be the dream. It's never gonna happen, but we need that angel investor. You know, like, hey, isn't the lotto up to $1 billion right now? Any of you guys out there play? You win. You wanna hire our team to make SS our lifetime career? We're probably in. Shoot you on. Is there a way to force an object with physics to be static when placed in a workshop? Asking for WRK reasons. Oh yeah, I think you sent me that message, and I started to look it up for you, and then I got distracted. I think there is. I think there's a keyword or something you can put on things. Can you DM me that on Discord, and I'll remember to look it up. Just like direct message. Don't just tag me in one of the channels, because sometimes I forget to respond to those. But if you DM me, I just won't mark your message read until I have an answer for you. Use the Force, says Skyway. Sapanta, if that question is directed to King Ath, you should at him first. Oh, did I miss something? Yeah. Geekstrom, okay, I can see the question. Do you think leak news Fallout 4 Marketplace real? I haven't heard anything like that, so I don't know what that is. Computers say no. How about a mobile game in the way of Fallout Shelter, but with outside base building? I hate mobile games, personally. I don't want a game on my phone, so if I don't want to play it, I'm not going to make it. Like, for me, like I used to love Hearthstone, and I played a lot of Fallout Shelter. But now I've been trying to push myself out of using my phone much, because the problem is and I think it started because I have kids, is the times that I would have to do mobile gaming would be time I'm around the rest of my family, and so like during that time I try to keep my phone far away from me. So generally the times that I have my phone and I could be playing a game, I can also just be at my computer, and I'd rather just play a computer game or a console game. So like I don't have room for mobile gaming in my life, and so I'm not going to want to make something that I don't enjoy playing. But that would definitely be a much more realistic goal for sure. Like that could be a way to go, and it could be a way to make some money too, because mobile gaming, if you hit the right formula, is pretty lucrative. Riss, are you being a realist or a pessimist? A little of both, I'm sure. Like I have plenty of optimism in my blood, as the team will attest, in how much I'm willing to try and pull off. The difference between doing it as a game company and doing it as a mod is the pressure. Because as soon as it's a game company, then I'm going to be responsible for the salaries of a large number of people, and like that level of pressure is so high. Because I wouldn't want to let anybody down, and like I don't know how I would do in that scenario. So like it's like taking a gamble. It's not just taking a gamble on myself, it would be taking a gamble on the lives of a lot of other people. So like, I kind of have to be a pessimist about it. Like, I'm not in a position, you know, I'm not 20 years old with nothing to lose, and neither are most of the people on our team. So, you know, I can't take something like that lightly. Can't risk the livelihood of a lot of people, or their time. You know, their time is their livelihood. So that's why I have to be realistic and pessimistic about it. Is I got to be 100% confident to dive into something like that, because again, it's if I was a college student with nothing to my name, then I'd have not, you know, it'd be no reason not to. It'd be stupid not to. But in my current predicament, it's I have to take it very seriously. Nick, have you ever spent money on game microtransactions? Oh, absolutely. Not a ton. Like I've bought Hearthstone packs. I've bought, what else have I spent money on? I bought most of the Creation Club stuff for Fallout. But that was more because I wanted to see if I could integrate some of it. Not because I don't think I played with most of it. It was just like I just wanted to see if I could integrate it dynamically. So it was like a learning cost. Carback, never go back to WoW. Just think about the cool Raider stuff you and I can make for Starfields. Yeah, I'm not going back to WoW. I have no desire to go back to WoW. I am just automatically turned. Like, this is one of the where 76 died for me. I love the storyline in Fallout 76 was great. It was a lot of fun. Not the original, but like the stuff they added in with when they brought people back. I liked it. It was good. But the game just had too much MMO vibe, and I get turned off by it immediately, because I know if I let myself get sucked into the loop, I know where my life goes. So I don't let it happen anymore. So now I'm just kind of disgusted by that gameplay loop anymore. Warlords broke me too. I RP'd a Demon Hunter and I still refuse to come back. Canuck, don't know if it works for the streamer, but 3-dot button at the top of chat window, toggle timestamps. Oh, let me find out. That would be super helpful. Toggle timestamps. Oh, they are there. Nice. Thank you. That'll help a lot. Then I can talk to you guys about like who I'm talking. So I'm talking about this person who put this message 40 minutes ago. That'll be helpful. Choo-choo sent. Awesome. Oh man, am I caught up to chat? I did it. I finally got there. All right. Oh, Yagi, you almost went back to WoW for monks. I did. One of my best experiences in WoW was playing Mists of Pandaria right at the end before whatever expansion came. Maybe Warlord came out right after that, but right at that tail end, because everybody, like that island they had, that like end game island, was just always full of high levels, just wrecking shop everywhere. And so like I was able to solo that whole time, because one of the things that got me addicted to WoW was the community aspect of like having a guild and everything. So when I came back for Mists, just to take a peek, I played only solo, and so then I would only play for a little bit here and there. And I was able to do that and get really good endgame gear because they made the raids so easy with the looking for group stuff, and like they had that endgame island where you could get all sorts of gear. Oh, that was so much fun. Even though, and a lot of people hated Mists, but that was like my favorite experience in all of WoW. 76 has some cool stuff. I would love for 76 plots, and of course my nukes, but the grind is just too much. Yeah, the grind was too much. I never got to launch a nuke in 76. I was very disappointed by that. I got close a couple of times, but again, because I was trying to avoid the MMO curse for myself, I refused to hang out with other people on there. It was just a solo experience for me to make sure it didn't turn into the next WoW. And so I was never, I didn't quite have the gear or strength to solo the getting the nuke codes. I don't even know if you can. I assume you can. Like I tried and I got pretty close a couple of times, but Skywise, my weakness is Star Trek Online. I have to have shiny starships. I didn't even know they had a Star Trek Online. Timeless Isle. Yeah, that was it. Timeless Isle. I had so much fun playing Timeless Isle. Did you like Warcraft 3? Okay, here's how much I love Warcraft 3. Let me throw this out at you guys. I am considering, don't hold me to this because I don't have a lot of time, but I really like streaming and hanging out with you guys, and like I don't take enough time for myself to do non-work or modding things is I've been considering starting another stream night, probably on the weekend, and playing through all of the games throughout my life that inspired me to make what I make. Like, play through all my old favorites. And Warcraft 3 is absolutely one of them. Like, Warcraft 3 to me is the inspiration for blending story and systems gameplay in a great way. Like, I really love the way they take you through a really epic story and they introduce you to the new unit slowly. Like, that to me would be gold standard for us to get to for tutorialization of Sim Settlements. Jason Lockrantz, Mists is now looked upon very favorably as an expansion. Yeah, I hear they've kind of been taking a piss out of the last few expansions. Like, people are not happy. But I haven't been following it a ton. I just periodically, like, an angry video will come up from, like, I don't even know the names of the guy. Asmongold, I think, is the guy who's real popular for Warcraft, and venting about Bethesda's choices for Warcraft. We have to get you in the game and drop a nuke on the queen just once. I mean, I've experienced many of the nukes. Like, I played the nuke loop on the queens. Like, that's how I grinded good gear, as I would just hang out in there and join the combat. So I've seen it happen many times. I just never got to personally be the one to pull the trigger. Would Sim Settlements, the game, feature combat? I mean, that's a good question. I don't know. But, like, to get to the level of polish combat has so I think that, to be honest, like, I think the way a Sim Settlements game would be feasible would to be embrace what I just said, Warcraft 3, of doing something more like overhead strategy with the story as opposed to first-person RPG. I think that would make it more attainable by a small team. And then the combat would just be like RTS-y combat, where it doesn't have to be phenomenal. It just has to be, units smashing each other in the face. What are your old favorites? So favorite games that I would want to play through would be Warcraft 3, StarCraft, the original, and Brood War, Quake 3, well, that didn't really have a story to it, Grim Fandango, which is like one of the greatest adventure games of all time. What else would I play through? Super Mario RPG. I'd have to get a console emulator. What else would I put on that list? Chrono Trigger, probably. If we're going console. I'd have to think about it. But there's a handful of games where I'm just like, I can't get out of my head. Neverwinter Nights, probably another one. There'd be quite a few of them, and they'd be a lot of older games. Because the majority of Deus Ex, original Deus Ex, would definitely be up there. And a lot of them are like classics that everybody's played, so it's not like I have but I think I'd probably focus on the ones that are weird, that not a ton of people play, like Grim Fandango, because that would be more likely I showed people something they'd never seen before. Star Trek Online, initial release date February 2nd, 2010. Interesting. Yeah, I had no idea that they did a Star Trek Online. It doesn't shock me, but... Sinister One, other than the nuke launcher, are there any other plots you want to put into SS2 or see someone else add that you haven't yet? I mean, I would love to bring back a better version of Helios 1. Like, we had like a cheap version of it in the Industrial Revolution patch for SS1. I'd like to bring that back. I'd love to see more entertaining plots, like like we did with the theater. I'd love to see somebody do more stuff like that, more animation focused ones. So I think I saw earlier in chat somebody said it, and I didn't have a chance to comment on it back then, was like somebody like doing something with dancing. That could be cool. And I don't need to do it. If anybody wanted to put that in there, I think that could be a fun one. There's enough dance animations either between community resources, and there's a couple in the base game. Skywise, the best part is how continuity is being taken to use in canon. What were we talking about? In Star Trek. Star Trek Online. Nick Carter, what is your favorite race to play as in Warcraft 3? Oh, I don't know. I rotated all the time. Yeah, I liked them all. Night Elves, Undead, Human, Orcs are all awesome. Yeah, I've always, like, I always do that with, I do that with a lot of games. Like, when I played World of Warcraft, I had a max level of every class because I just liked them all. I liked the variety. Like, up to a point. I think I got up to, took them all to level 80 maybe, and then I stopped that grind. Whatever level you could get to at the end of Lich King, I think is the highest. I took all those guys, and then I kind of quit the game. But yeah, I love to rotate between and try the different ways to play. Same thing like with Hearthstone. I had at the height of my play when I was actually like, grinding out all the cards and stuff. I'd have like a one of every class deck built out. Carvick, running a nuke is fun. I used to get down to 15 minutes for entering the silo to nuke on the queen. Yeah, it was soloable, right? It wasn't something you didn't need to have a squad. It wasn't like you had to each put in a key to do it simultaneously, or was it that way? Was it set up where you couldn't possibly do it? Oh, Monkey Island, good call. Another great game. Grim Fandango is my favorite adventure game of all time, but I love Monkey Island as well. But I love the art style. Like I clearly have a thing for Art Deco. Like it's all over Fallout. It's the art style in Grim Fandango. Loved BioShock for that. And but yeah, Grim Fandango's story. That was the first time I'd ever experienced Dia de los Muertos. I never had heard of it before. And so that was my first experience with it, and I love the aesthetic of it. I like the mythology behind it. And like when Coco came out, the Pixar movie, I just was like, I was just so enamored with it because it was giving me flashbacks to Grim Fandango. Carback, I'd love to see more of the deep into the tech tree plots for IR back as 3x3 plots. Yeah, I don't think we'll ever bring those back. I think the tech tree now is going to have its home in HQ. I think that's where I like the tech tree better. I think the tech tree now in plot form exists in the unlocks, and the fact that like you and the production and conversion relationship. I think that's kind of where the tech tree lives now. In those are the places it lives in SS2 and beyond. Jason Locrans, did you ever play the Quest for Glory series or the King's Quest series? I did not. Oh, you just reminded me another one, a favorite. Heroes of Might and Magic. Heroes of Might and Magic 3. I think that's the one I played just ungodly amounts of that game. It was 3 or 4, I can't remember which one. Which was the whatever the better one was. I don't remember which one. Heroes of Might and Magic was so good. You could do it solo. Actually got harder the more that came. Okay, yeah, you could solo. So I wasn't, because I never looked it up if it was possible. I kept just making runs at it, trying it by myself, thinking like, I bet I could pull this off. But I never finished it, so I never actually found out if I would just get wrecked at some point. I never found out if it was possible or not. I just had assumed it was. Starkiller Kate, if you like Art Deco, ever been to LA? There's a ton of old architecture out here. I have not. I should go. I have family there, but I've never been out to visit them. Nick Carter, what about Maniac Mansion and Day of the Tentacle? I never played Maniac Mansion. I played Day of the Tentacle, but I played it like way after it came out, and it didn't do it for me. Like I think I played it like 10 years ago. Like, and that came out what? 80s? Probably early 90s. 3 is the one people say is like the best. Yeah, Heroes of Might and Magic 3 I think is the one I have the most amount of hours into. Civilization, another one for me. Civ 4 is where I have most of my. What's the one that everyone hated? Was it Civ 5 where they like one of them I didn't play. The one that everyone hates I never played. And I think Civ 4 is the one I got the most time into. Because Civ 6 is only a few years old now. And I haven't played Civ 6. And I never played 5 and I heard it was bad. And then I was like, all right, well, I'm just done with that franchise. A lot of hours in Civ 4, though. Yeah, I mean, like Heroes of Might and Magic 3, I think kind of inspires. I really like the gameplay loop in that, and that's kind of something that I want to have a little. That I think what we're doing kind of gets to, as we get to chapter 3. This idea of like, you know, you go do things in the game where like you kind of like clear dungeons in a sense, like, you know, it's all done with just like you go to a location and do a little battle, and then you earn things and you earn soldiers and stuff like that. And that's kind of, you know, the way Fallout 4 works with recruiting settlers is you go do these quests, you earn settlers, and they eventually get to join you in battle. Like that is kind of the dream. And that's got a little Heroes of Might and Magic vibe to it. I've never played Alpha Centauri. There was definitely a period where I kind of got burned out on all the 4X and RTS stuff. Like, it was coming out too rapid fire. It was like kind of at the end of the golden age of that stuff. There was just so many options. Like, there was a time where it was like Supreme Commander and Empire Earth and what other ones? There were just like so many coming out where I couldn't keep up with them all. And I kind of got burned out and I quit that genre for a long time. Or those two genres for a long time. Yeah, City Skylines I've only touched very briefly. Obviously SimCity was an inspiration. As we're putting it in here. I loved me some SimCity. Particularly SimCity 2000 was probably where I put the most hours in. But yeah, here's City Skylines. Though I've heard City Skylines is basically like it's more of a traffic simulator than anything. Like, it's more its big thing is you can do a lot of cool stuff with traffic, as opposed to some of the other elements that SimCity focused on. But that could just be a hater trying to boil it down to something smaller. Obviously, a lot of people like City Skylines. Alpha Centauri was a reskin of Civ 2. Aha, gotcha. So it was like space Civ 2. I got really into briefly in the last couple of years. I got briefly into Stellaris, however you say it, and that felt like, I don't know, that gave me like Civ and space vibes. But I cut myself off because I could feel an addiction forming. I was just like, oh God, I'm gonna, like, I did like 3 nights in a row where I started playing at 10 o'clock and I look up and it's 6 a.m. and I was like, I can't do this. I'm too old for this. I don't have to. I got kids who need me in the morning. I can't be operating on 1 hour of sleep. So I had to cut myself off from it. And that was without all the 30 expansions they have. I was just playing the vanilla game of it and I was super into it. Any word on if Beth will be able to fix the power grid in the upcoming update? I don't know. I mean, I've given them all the... I emailed the people I know all the information I have. You know, they said no promises, but, you know, you can email us the information. So I'm not holding my breath, but did what I could. You played Frostpunk games or like... Yeah, I loved Frostpunk. Frostpunk was awesome. That's a good genre combination of the kind of... Not RTS. It's almost like... It's like city builder and survival combined. Like, I like that. That was a good combo. AC is Civ 2.5. They introduced a bunch of concepts to see if they were good in the main games. Ah, okay. Yeah, I skipped Alpha Centauri. I was never... for the longest time... I'm trying to remember when I got into more... I definitely... was more fantasy in my earlier days and got more into sci-fi later. Like, I definitely liked swords and sorcery over space and lasers earlier. Now I would say I probably flipped. I'd probably prefer space to fantasy now. Vanilla CS forces you to be a traffic manager. Okay, so that wasn't an exaggeration that I had heard. Oh man, it's 12:30, guys. Talking about staying up too late. I gotta get up, take care of the kiddos in the morning. So I think it's a good time to end it. I somehow managed to keep up with chat for the first time in ages. So thank you guys for joining me tonight. Next week we'll be back again. I think I'm not sure what order we're gonna do it. I don't know if I'm gonna do like every other. I said last stream I'm trying some new stuff this year to shake it up. So I'm not sure. It's gonna every week. I'm just gonna kind of play it by ear. But we have a couple of things in the works. I think we're gonna be able to finish easy mode with one more episode. I think that the plan somebody proposed of let's get through the settlement quests and then fast forward HQ, play that a little bit. I think I can do that in an evening. Maybe two though. Maybe one's pushing it too tight. And then we'll do hard mode soon. So. And somewhere in there I'll pepper some other stuff. And I got quite a list of potential people to bring back on as guests to do the kind of pseudo podcasty thing at the end. So I might queue some of those up. And then of course we've got Bethesda Mod School Live as a potential bug fix live. So we've got a lot of variations we can do. And then now I've obviously pitched out this idea of me playing old games. I think if I do the old game thing though, I'll probably do it on Twitch just to keep it off this channel because I don't want people to think that I'm going crazy on this channel. Try and keep this pretty Fallout 4 focused for the most part. But guys, thanks again for joining me. I will catch you next week.